love. Sit down, you look absolutely perished.
Tea's still hot, Maggie.
Oh, lovely.
And how was Brum, my favourite town, eh?
Oh, cold like everywhere else.
Oh, I miss the bull ring.
There you are, Chuck. And how was Les?
Oh, he's got a job he likes. He's very happy.
Oh, good. Did you say when he's coming back here?
It won't be. He's staying on with his brother.
Yes, I mean, well, that's for the present, but I mean the future, you know.
I'll just take my coat off, Betty. Pour us a cup of tea out. I'm
Yes.
More than ready for one.
How much?
Oh, see for yourself.
That's ridiculous. I mean, how many power stations do we keep in production?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Every time we get a bill in, you go into a song and dance.
Yeah, well, who pays, lover?
Well, there's time to worry when we can't.
Well, then start worrying. Not that it's the only one. They usually come in batches around the new year.
Yeah, you're so right. I was saving these till you recovered from the body blow.
Oh, not all these. Yep, if you can see your name typed staring at you through a little window, their bill's all
Well,
right.
there's fire insurance, the magazine subscription, your endowment
Okay.
policies.
I'll sort out what can wait till the end of the month.
Let's not have 2 days switching switches off all over the flat. You do that every time we get the electricity bill.
I think you've been economising already with the iron.
Oh, good heavens. Nobody's going to notice a few creases under your jacket.
I will.
Look, I just haven't got time to do everything.
Yeah, so I've noticed. Me, the kids, the housework, and a full-time job, you've taken on too much.
Oh, have I? Well, when you start to settle these, just remember how much my pay packet helps out.
We managed before.
Just.
Yeah, and that's all we're doing now, just managing. Now, come on. Are we any better off?
Oh, we must be.
Love, it's a spiral. One's expenditure expands to match one's increased income.
You've been drinking with Chairman Mal again, haven't you?
Yeah, that's not the only way we're any better off, either.
Morning.
I'll get you breakfast.
One egg will do for me, love. Looking a bit peaky this morning.
Yes, I think it's seeing 1970 on the calendar, Uncle Albert, makes me suddenly feel very old.
Yeah, you don't get out enough, that's your trouble.
What do you mean I totter around to the Rovers often enough?
That's what I mean. You're in a rut. I mean, there's not much of I like visiting Rovers, is there?
If you've got any other suggestions?
Yes, you want to start the new year fresh. Start going out with me. There's lots of new places we can take in, you know, us two together.
The world doesn't end at the corner shop, eh?
Oh, and first, you can drop calling me uncle.
Yes, Al?
No, not that.
No, that does rather smack of the American Depression, doesn't it? Well, what does that leave us with now? Bert? Tat?
Albert will do me.
Okay, you count me in, sport.
Yeah. Well, look, I've planned our first outing for dinner time.
Oh, yeah? We're going to a happening, are we? Somewhere exciting.
Flying horse.
Oh.
If our behaviour doesn't suit any walker, we can take our customers somewhere else. She's not the only one who makes resolutions, you know. Oh, don't fry that egg, Valerie. I'll have it softly boiled.
What did you say?
Must you do that, Dickie?
What? Oh, that just shows I appreciate your cooking.
Well, I'd rather you didn't, thank you.
You're quite right, Miss Nugent. Fix him up a trough in backyard.
Well, it's always me, isn't it? I mean, he gets away with murder.
Get away. You don't see me fanning a saucer of tea with me cap.
No, but I do set out side plates, which you ignore, and I wish you would use a separate knife for the marmalade. It's disconcerting to find orange rind in the butter dish.
Peasant.
Audrey never went on about the niceties.
Audrey probably realised it was a waste of time, as I'm beginning to.
Well, Annie Walker will expect you to turn in, Liz.
She'll have to expect, won't she? She sacked me.
Ah, again.
Yeah.
I never took any notice before.
That was the first time, you know.
What's the betting she condescends to have your back?
It's her hard luck, isn't it? Shan't be available, shall I? Anyway, how's our Maggie? I told her she should stop in bed, you know, and get over this journey.
Well, she seems cheerful to me. I mean, more cheerful than not.
More to it about Les, you know, than she's letting on.
Could be he wants to come back.
Of course, mind you, they never got over that football defeat. That still rankles. Now they think they can regain some of the prestige challenging us at darts.
Oh, hence the challenge, then.
Yeah. Flying horse versus Rovers return. They don't stand a chance.
Who, Albert?
Well, their team, of course.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Who is their team? You've changed your allegiance, haven't you? I mean, by boycotting Annie Walker, the Rovers becomes the opposition, isn't it?
No, not for sporting purposes. No, I intend doing me drinking in Flying Horse, but I'm still classed as one of the Rovers' regulars.
Well, how can you be? I mean, if you... Oh, never mind.
Woo! Watch out, Weatherfield. The dynamic duo are about to strike.
Look, love, will you just give me a brush across my shoulders?
Aftershave
Yeah.
lotion?
Mine. I said he could have a dab, and I think he had a shower in it.
Uncle Albert, have you got 2 birds lined up?
Oh, don't talk so daft.
The only birds we're likely to pull at the Flying Horse are 2 leftover turkeys.
Is that where you're going? Must be the new fun place. I gather Len spent his New Year there.
Oh, did he? Come on, kiddo. Are you
I won't be a
ready? Come
sec.
on.
Just go in the bathroom.
You know why, don't you?
Why what?
Len.
Okay, I'm listening.
Well, Elsie and Alan had a date at the Rovers and Len didn't want to be around.
He told her that direct, did he?
No, I'm guessing. It'd be ironic if I was right, though, wouldn't it? Especially with Alan not turning up.
Would you like to have some information for your gossip computer?
More guesswork.
Fact. Alan hasn't been seen around since the night he stood up Elsie, right? Well, he's in Leeds. He rang up Len and told him he got a job to finish up there.
Ah, that's where he disappeared to.
And Elsie hasn't been seen traipsing around either.
And she took the day off.
And that should keep your busy little mind ticking over all afternoon.
Does it make me look taller?
Oh, you'll have to get a buzz fix.
Yeah, or high heel stockings. Come on, if you're finished fussing about.
Hey, look where you're going.
Do you want me?
No, I'm after Mrs. Barlow. I mean to ask her something like.
Uh-huh. You wearing aftershave?
No.
You can go in then.
I'm just up out myself, but...
Oh, I won't keep you 2 minutes. I just wondered if you could let me have Irma's address in Australia.
Oh, yes, certainly. I'll put it somewhere.
I missed saying goodbye to her, you see. It fair upset me, did that?
Yes, a lot of us didn't get the chance to say goodbye either. Oh, a letter should be here.
Not very pleasant for her going back, is it?
It's a tiring journey, yes.
No, I mean with her and her husband not hitting it off like.
Eh?
Of course, you'll know more about that than I do, I suppose.
Who told you that?
Sandra.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, don't believe everything you hear round here. There's more rumours than margarine spread round here. There you are. That should find her.
Oh, thanks very much.
You can walk me over to the corner shop because I want a word with Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
And, when you write, tone it down, love, because if David ever pays us a flying visit, he's got a very strong left foot.
Now, they usually throw from 8 foot.
Aye, that's the mark the Rovers favour.
Yeah, well, on the night of the match, we'll spring it on them. The throwing distance should be 8'6".
Can you do that, Tommy?
Yeah, of course we can. This is our patch. Our rules apply. Hey, listen. Have you scouted their players?
Well, Len Fairclough's a certainty.
He's a double top man, isn't he?
No, double 16. Starts and finishes on it more often than not.
Oh, well, we'll make it a bit tougher for him. We'll squeeze the double 16 wires together. Not too much, just a fraction. But it'll increase the odds in our favour. Oh, and listen, tell our lot, lay off 16.
You ought to be on commission, you know, for bringing in all these new customers.
Oh, be friends of yours, lad.
All layabouts, love. Anita, meet. Ray in the wheelchair, the mad lad. Dickie Fleming, married. Hello. Ken Barlow, married.
Hello.
And Albert.
How do you do?
Yeah, you can look, but don't touch. I saw her first.
I wouldn't dream of touching.
I saw that gleam in your eye, though, Albert.
Hey, what's it to be, lads?
I'll take over. They can be very tricky, can this lot. Now then, what's this, a truant's reunion?
What are you doing here?
I'm working part-time. I mean, Mrs. Walker doesn't monopolise me altogether, you know. I can float where I please.
You've been fired again, haven't you, Betty Turps?
Yeah, more times than the 1 o'clock gun. And this time I'm staying fired, and Annie can lump it.
Yeah, that's a thought.
You're not plucking up courage to buy around, are you, Fairclough?
No. Betty.
You've got that a bit wrong, love. Customers pay for barmaids' drinks.
No, you're our Trojan horse.
I don't think I like the sound of that.
A spy in the enemy camp.
Oh, not the dart match again. Anyway, how can she be a Matahari? Aren't any tactics to learn about darts? All you do is stand there, chuck 'em and count the score.
True enough, true enough. Isn't that so, Ted?
True.
Oh, we throw a fair arrow in this boozer. All fair and square, no shenanigans.
All right, well, what happened to Sid Mason from Grapes?
Dirty lie.
Now, look, he got you set up for a tin hat. He puts his darts down to light his pipe, turns round, somebody's dipped his flights in ale. Absolutely ruined the feathers, put him off his game.
You know, that's as bad as spitting on the tip of your opponent's cue when you're playing billiards when his back's turned.
Oh, well, you see now, Sid didn't observe the unwritten rule. When not throwing, all arrows should be kept safe in your top pocket. What do you think they put top pockets in jackets for anyhow?
I say,
What?
that puts me at a disadvantage to start with.
Which brings me to you, Betty, me darling. You know, on your day, you are without a doubt the best thrower this side of the Shannon.
So you've been selected for our team?
Hey, hold on a minute. I'm the selector for the Rovers team and I've picked her for our side.
Asher, how can you do that? She works for this pub. She's on the staff here.
But she's established as one of our crowd.
Well, it seems as the champ is eligible for both sides. Dual nationality.
So it's up to me, is it then? It's my choice.
Aye.
Ah, ain't it nice to be wanted? Usual drinks, gentlemen.
£1.15.6 I paid for those. Honestly. Well, Sue will just have to make do with the one she's got. Anyway, here's me nattering on. I came to see how your trip went. Well, one thing's settled. Is he okay? Well, I got something important to tell you. About Les? Yeah. Well, I can't keep a customer waiting. I just finished serving and then I'll tell you all about it.
You know, Ted, I reckon the beer tastes even better since Betty here started handling the pumps.
Oh, you smarmy bog trotter.
Have you got anything nice to say about me, Mr. Tatlock?
Oh, come off it, Betty. You're too intelligent to fall for flattery.
Don't you believe it? Flattery will get you everywhere, Chuck.
How about bribery? A free packet of cheese and onion with every order.
Now you're talking.
Hey, it's not fair keeping us in suspense.
Oh, it's a woman's privilege, and a fairer specimen of a womanhood I've yet to see.
Right, I've decided.
Rovers.
But flying horse.
To ask my husband.
Still making them sweat it out.
Oh, power, Cyril. Hey, it's a marvellous feeling. They think that I'm conferring with you.
And your mind's actually made up already?
Yeah, ages ago. Hey, I've got you a nice little bit of pork fillet for your tea.
With apple sauce?
Yes, I made you some.
They're weighing up the pros and cons.
Aye.
Of course, you know, strictly speaking, we are entitled to her services. I mean, we're half a man short already with me.
You know, Ted, we should have sent a point over to the sergeant, shouldn't we?
Too late, here she comes.
Oh, well, Blossom.
Well, technically, I'm part of the Flying Horse.
Correct.
Ah, but my heart's still with the Rovers, so I'm going to play for them.
You dirty, great big
Hey! Language. I'll run a tyre mark across your chest.
Right, well, that's settled then. Well, our lineup will be Betty and Ray, plus Cyril and Len. Oh, and we'll take you on at dominoes as well.
Right, you're on.
Good.
Les could have come back a long time ago if he wanted to. It's his home as much as mine, but there we are. He feels if he came back here, he might crack up again. In some way, associates Gordon, me, this place, with everything that went wrong.
Oh, he can't blame you, Maggie.
Oh, no, he blames himself. It's just that we both realise his brother's doing something I couldn't. Stopping him from drinking. Away from his brother's influence, he's scared of weakening.
What are you going to do?
Oh, we'll carry on with the separation and then we'll get a divorce.
Oh, yes. Well, I suppose it is best.
Hard to face up to. I haven't told Betty. You know what a marriage broker she is. She'd drive me mad, prodding me to go after everything in trousers.
Len had come into the reckoning.
Yeah, especially Len. She's driven me in that direction before.
But you are going to tell him about you and Les, aren't you? I think it's only fair.
Maybe I will.
Well, don't go looking for him in the Rovers. He's changed his local.
Not like Len.
Oh, well, Len and Elsie and Alan had something to do with that.
Oh, were they? Are they, getting on well together?
Well, they're not exactly hearts and flowers at the moment. She didn't come into the salon, so I'm not really up to date with that twosome.
Oh, I just wondered.
Well, you're more or less fancy-free now. You can compete on level terms.
You're promoting a contest.
Do you know what I'd do? I get myself all glammed up. Oh, glad rags and fluttering eyelashes do wonders. Plus a free shampoo and set, of course.
Oh, who put that flaming snake there?
Well, go on, get down
No,
it.
hang on. I'm just a slight miscalculation, I think, there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, one
Come
past.
on.
You threw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, Hawkeye. Your turn.
Have you told Len Fairclough you taken off his offer yet?
You really should, Ray.
All right.
In fact, I mentioned to Mr. Fairclough he's certain to accept.
Did you?
Well, what are you waiting for?
A call from Onassis to run his shipping line.
Oh, be sensible. It's something that's within your capabilities.
Look, just give us a chance. If I go back with Len, I'm back to square one. 2 throws back.
And in the meantime, you're moping about when you could be doing something useful.
Everybody wants to run my flipping life for me. I just wish you'd let me get on with it my own way.
Evening.
Hiya.
Hello. Here, love. Here's my second best set, so now you can get you some practice in.
Ta. Hey, just my heavy.
Oh, no. Barrel's too bulgy for me. Audrey all right, love?
Yeah, Grace. Resting like, you know. Well, her mother spoils her rotten.
How's this mother managing with her adopted?
Oh, I had less trouble with the 4-year-olds at the nursery.
Not surprised.
I bet she never had to make him any pots of tea as I have to.
Good lad, you tell her.
You'll stop for a cup.
Oh, I've been waiting to be asked. Hey, have you heard the latest on Alan Howard?
I'm usually a day late with the news.
He's opted to Leeds. That's one in the eye for poor Elsie, isn't it?
Aye, they're off.
What do you think?
Oh, I don't believe a word of it.
Well, he said that Sandra got it straight from Irma.
No. She's sending him up. She knows how he's been mooning over Irma. She's just putting him on.
Well, it's not exactly a flip subject, is it? I mean, it's not something you joke about.
Yeah, either that or he's been reading too much into what was said. You know, probably some mention of a slight tiff with Dave, and he's built it up into a big bust-up.
It's possible.
You know, I was a bit worried about our David getting married, but he seems to be making a go of it.
Yeah, I didn't take Bernard very seriously either.
What were you saying about some other marriage going on the rocks then?
Oh, Maggie, yeah, but that's not just a silly rumour. That really has finished.
What, divorce?
Eventually, they agreed about it over the holidays.
You're lucky with me, you know, Spud.
Oh, Kenneth Barlow, the pillar of virtue.
I mean, we haven't got any problems, have we? Well, except one. We can do something about that.
You mean whether to go to Bermuda or Hawaii for the summer?
Oh, the debtor's prison.
I've never known anyone exaggerate like you.
Anyway, seriously, love, we've got to cut down on our spending. You know, we've never earned so much, and we've got nothing to show for it.
Well, we'll start saving tomorrow.
A strict budget.
Both of us.
Right. Because if they pick me to go on strike, God help us. And I'm fed up with getting the shakes every time these bills come in.
Oh.
Do you like it?
Very smart.
It's not too short for me, is it?
Oh, no, I can still remember in your little gingham dress and, you know, that little bobby socks.
Oh, hey, that's going back a bit.
Are you going to the flicks tonight, love?
I might do, or I might pop in for a quiet drink. Flying horses where everybody's making for these days, isn't it? I don't want to be the odd one out.
Oh, look out for you, love. I know somebody who will welcome you.
Oh, yes?
Who? Oh, well, no one. I mean, just, well, everybody, love. I mean, all the regulars from the Rovers will be there.
Right. I'll be off then. Ta-ra.
Try, love.
And who, might I ask, left the blacking brush on the draining board? Hey, clothiers!
Well, seeing as Miss Nugent is wearing suede, it must have been me.
Yeah, well, shift it in the cleaning box where it belongs.
All right. Don't get niggly, just 'cause it's your turn to do the drying up.
Oh, I'll put it away and attack the dishes properly.
You know, you're getting just like her. Just like Miss Nugent in one of her bossy moods. Isn't he, Bernie?
Is he? I don't know. Impossible.
It's not, you know, mate.
Look, are you trying to get me at it?
No, I think probably I'm becoming more like her and all.
Well, maybe it's something to do with all being under the same roof.
Eh?
Yeah, I'll do. Well, I've just come in to discuss tactics. Because we can't start too soon, you know. We're not playing against a bunch of puddings.
We are not interested in that kids' game.
Kids' game, eh? All right. Well, you stick to your darts, my lad, where you don't need to use your brain power. This game calls for mental reflexes, it does.
You know, you could always get Tommy Deacon drunk.
Aye, like you tried before that football match.
Did you, Mr. Tatlock?
Aye. Irish Tommy finished more agile than a washhouse monkey.
Yeah, and now that you ended up with head like a boiler.
Yeah, well, we came out on top, didn't we? We won. And if we got to remain top dogs, we've got to keep at it and get it sorted out proper.
Aye, agreed. We can't have that lot crowing over us.
Yeah, true, and there's a barrel of beer on this result, isn't there?
Now, first of all, I shall want a partner. Now, counting Ray out, that means one of you three. Of course, I know that two of you are going to be disappointed, but that can't be helped. Right, now then I'll give you a test. How many dominoes in a double 9 set? Well, it's marvellous, isn't it? Well, come on, have a guess then.
63?
Oh, must be over 70.
Bernard?
58?
55. 4 players, 9 each, 19 sleeping. Right, you're at nearest, so you've been selected.
Well, what do I have to do?
You go when you can and knock when you can't. But what is important is knowing what I'm holding and vice versa.
Well, how will we know that?
Signals. We swap signals.
Is that ethical?
It's gamesmanship.
Cheating.
Look, when you're playing in a competition with no holds barred, it's gamesmanship.
Don't think I altogether approve.
You know, I can just see Bernie sat there, pulling his ears and tickling his chin and playing with his tie.
No, that's a bit too obvious. No, you've got to be more subtle than that. Now, for instance, it's my down. So I put it down like this. Now, you'll notice I use my thumb and first finger of my left hand. That means I'm short-suited in them numbers. Now, if I use my second finger and my thumb, like that, that means I've got plenty of them, so you can keep on pushing them. There's lots of variations, you know, just depending on the way you put your dominoes down and the way you hold them. You can use your second, your third, or your fourth finger. They all mean something different. And then if you use your right hand, that means something different again.
Does it?
Yes. Now, when you've got that lot mastered, then we'll get down to it in putting them down lengthways.
What does scratching your nose mean?
You don't use that. Now, look, here, see. You're there, you're studying your hand like that, looking at your dominoes, and you just rub the table gently with your other hand. That's scratching. What's known as measles.
Measles?
Measles. It means that I've got plenty of spots, so don't stitch up both ends, else we'll lose on the count.
Yeah, and this fella said there's more islands in Lime Street now than there is in the Pacific.
You know, I haven't been to the pool for years. How's the new Mersey Tunnel going?
Hey, still digging.
I think it's quicker to swim.
Hello, Len.
Hello, Maggie. Welcome home.
Thanks. I was told you'd be here.
Change of scenery. And Maggie, you don't know Anita, do you? Maggie? Anita?
Hello.
Anita, Maggie.
Hello.
A neighbour of mine. If you want a job doing, Maggie, I've got a lot of my books at the moment. I haven't been putting in much overtime lately.
No, spending too much time here. Oh, it'll keep.
Well, I'll come round the shop in the morning, eh? Suit you?
Oh, thanks, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I won't let you down. You know, last time I was in Liverpool, I was shouting my head off at Goodison Park.
Oh, yeah.
Roy played it blind, and I'm not joking. But a few years back, we were playing Stockport.
If it's a fire or a burglary, why can't it wait until the morning?
It is morning.
Oh, come on, the stars are still shining.
Well, that's their problem. Here you are. Here's a nice cup of tea.
You know, this is what the day of judgment must be like. You're lying there, peacefully. Suddenly, the light goes on, and a voice echoes across the universe. Here's a nice cup of tea.
No, it's more important than that, love. It's the first day of Finn's first January sales.
All right, well, I'm going back to bed.
Oh, no, I'm afraid not. I want to be there by 8:30, so you don't mind having looking after the twins, do you? Boiled eggs will do. Will you take the tops off the shells for them, because they make such a mess of it if they do it themselves? And, there's a few things I want from Maggie's. You don't mind dropping the list in, do you? Will you pop over and see that Uncle Albert's all right?
Sales?
Yes, that's right. Because I've got no appointments till late afternoon. Don't worry, I'm not going to spend much money. Just a few shirts for you and some vests for the kids.
You know, Val, I'm not the least bit annoyed or angry.
Right, you love?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
Because I know that this is just a dream. Not a very good one, but a dream. Must have been that chutney.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, love, open a window or something. You could cut the atmosphere in here.
Could you?
Oh, it's not good for your lungs, isn't all this? I'll go and open the back door and see if I can't blow a bit of it away. Oh, it's been frosty. Stars are still twinkling. Hey. Right, that's better. That's a little bit of fresh air in. By the looks of that, you've been up all night.
I'm over 21.
I know, love, but it isn't good for your lungs, dear. And think about the electricity bill.
Oh, blimey, somebody's trying to freeze us out. It's perishing in here.
What's the matter, love?
Nothing.
Nothing? Look, if you won't tell us, how can we help you?
Why, could you help me if I did? If I did tell you?
We a few skids this morning.
Oh, well, you'll know soon enough.
Is it Les?
I hope they fix them traffic lights up.
Yes, Les.
Thought so.
It's finished. We're getting a divorce.
Oh, lovely.
That's a big word, Maggie. Divorce.
Yeah, 22 years big. There've been some good times. Spent most of last night thinking of them. And Gordon.
Shouldn't you think again, love? I mean, well, after all, you're not young.
Well, she's not old, is she? I think she's been getting used to the idea slowly over the past 12 months or more. Gordon as well. Right, Maggie?
Something like that. I've thought of the word. It's when you say it out loud it comes as a shock.
Cup of tea, Liz, eh?
I'd rather you didn't tell Lem Fairclough.
But why should we, love?
I'd rather you didn't tell him, that's all.
Says a well-placed shot.
A lucky miss-hit.
Skillfully manoeuvred.
Glanced off his boot.
Is it the same flaming game?
I don't know. The team's the same and the score's the same. Which sports reporter did not go to the match?
You mean which flipping sports reporter sticks up for which flipping team? Enter our exciting new football competition.
Your haddock's going cold.
Going, it's gone.
It wasn't. It was piping hot when I gave it to you, and the butter was running off it, and it was flaky.
Would you warm up for us, Miss Nugent?
No, I would not. You can warm it up yourselves. I'm fed up. It's a pity you men couldn't be drip-fed so you could keep your noses glued in your papers.
Hey, that's an idea.
And it's not a funny one, Ray Langton. Everybody likes a bit of appreciation now and again.
We do.
Do you? You've a funny way of showing it. Your room's like a tip. You come in when you feel like it. You don't care whether I've cooked a meal or not. Anyway, I'm leaving. Fend for yourselves.
Funny creatures, women. No real understanding.
Not cup final standard, it says here.
Hey, you're desperate, you two, aren't you? I've only just opened.
I know, I can smell the carbolic.
Give over. That's best mild.
Oh, brother.
Well, what's it to be then? A pint of chartreuse.
Lemonade for me, please.
Two lemonades anonymous know about you.
Oh, no, it's my job, you see. Customers don't like it if you breathe beer all over them, especially if you've got a razor in your hand.
He's quite right, you know, and he's got to keep a clear head for tonight's dominoes.
Are you going to have a lemonade and all, Mr. Tatlock?
Oh, I wish I could, Bernard, but it's doctor's orders. Ever since me wound, no lemonade. No, it's something to do with my red corpuscles. No, it'll have to be a rum.
Oh. Was there something special you wanted to see me about?
Yes, but it's private, like.
Oh, go on, you can sit over at that table. I'll fetch them.
Thank you very much. Come on, sit down, lads. Well then, Bernard, just get a good look round, you know, get a bit of atmosphere.
That's a good idea, because I won't get much chance tonight.
No, that's true.
No, I shall have spots before the eyes. Do you get it? Spots.
Hey, now, come on, now. Don't take it so lightly, lad. Now, have you got all them signals off?
Yeah. Finger with thumb means lay off. With first finger means lay off. With second finger means play 'em. With third finger means double two. Fourth finger means double three. And right hand means double blank.
Yes, that's right.
That's it. I've been practising on customers' heads all morning.
Yeah, and don't forget, it's the doubles what count. And hold your head up. Happen I'll be able to see the reflection in your glasses. And if I should touch your foot with mine once, that means play on.
And twice means knock, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And don't forget, it's not the winning what counts, it's the playing the game.
Sorry about that. Dickie Fleming in for a tin of baked beans.
Beans, Miss Nugent's clipping, isn't she?
Maybe. Do you like it?
I always have. It reminds me of coming home to port.
Does somebody like Anita?
The Anitas were a lot younger then. So were the Lens.
She's quite young.
Not too young.
Attractive.
I think so.
Yes, that was obvious.
Was it? And who cares?
Who cares?
You can stay on the fence too long.
Or on the shelf.
You want?
Would you like it? That picture, for your house.
Give over.
No, it's only a cheap reproduction. I'm getting a new one, different view. If I look at that much longer, I'll get seasick. There you are. Hang it up in your bedroom. Pretend you're on dog watch or something. Sailing home to Anita.
She might like it.
No.
All right then, Maggie, I'll keep it myself. Thank you, Maggie.
You're welcome. Ah, there we go again, another tin of baked beans.
Roast duck. I don't think I've ever had roast duck.
Grilled pheasant.
Nah.
Can you grill pheasants?
It's the feathers. You have to keep spitting them out.
Roast venison.
No, that's what the rich folk have.
Yeah.
No wonder there was a Bolshevik revolution.
Yeah, but they didn't have the food or the money. We've got the money.
Trouble is, we're,
Lazy.
The very word, Dickie. When's she coming back?
Audrey. Couple of weeks.
It's a great life.
Oh, aye. It's a great life. We'll have to get somebody.
Ena Sharples.
What, you're joking? She'd have a scrub in the floor.
Correction. You scrubbing the floor.
Minnie Caldwell.
Oh, we'd have to share the cat's food.
Hello.
Hey, I can smell fish and chips.
With salt and vinegar.
Hello, Ken. We were just thinking about you.
Oh, that's nice. I was just thinking about you, and as I was passing, I thought I'd drop in, see how you were.
Hungry?
Yeah, well, I can't stop anyway.
You wouldn't consider parting with some of them fish and chips, would you?
You're right, I wouldn't. This one's for me, and the other two are for the twins.
No, it's just that we've not eaten since yesterday, you know.
Oh, what's wrong with Miss Nugent?
He got and left us. Before breakfast, said it was too much for her.
Oh, you can cook, can't you?
Oh, yeah, but, you know, I have a lot to do with getting Ray dressed and attending to him, like.
Oh, never mind, Dick. You could always make me a bit of toast tonight, if you get time, like.
Here you are. And I might as well join you. No point in trying to split that between three, is there? Beans. Full of iron, they say. Very good for growing children.
A dot's a flipping dot the world over.
Yeah, but not in Mesopotamia. Turkish dominoes are squiggles.
Aye, so are you.
What?
Hey, have you ever played Gaelic dominoes?
No.
Now, there's a great game, only you play it with bricks. You chuck a brick through your opponent's window and shout, "Hey, cop for this, it's a double two."
Yeah.
Anyway, Gaelic or Turkish or even Chinese darts, we'll transfer both games
What,
tonight.
Aye.
Right, Tommy?
Of course we will. We'll teach you immigrants a thing or two.
Immigrants?
Well, that's what you are, aren't you? From the Rovers' return.
Oh.
I wish you'd have come in for a drink, you know. I mean, just a little quick one. It'd have cheered her up.
Ah, don't worry about Maggie. She just take the best medicine to cheer her up. Once you swallowed it down, it'll just take a bit of swallowing at first, that's all.
Can I ask you something, love?
Yeah, ask anything you like, Mrs. Turpin. It's free country.
You and Len Fairclough?
Yes.
I'm only asking. Is it serious?
You're only asking.
Oh, friendly.
Oh, well, I'm only telling. Friendly. Me and Len's business is our own. Can I get you another one, Mr. Turpin?
Oh, is that all you could think of to give them? Beans? Always take them to the park. Good. Give me a chance to hide some of this lot. Oh, thanks, Len. It's a good job I met you. I was ready to drop. Hey, I didn't buy that, did I?
It's Maggie's.
Oh, that's right.
She said it might come in handy to hang on my bedroom wall to cover up a crack.
It was Les's. He said he used to sit and stare at it for hours, daydreaming he was going on a voyage to faraway places.
Yes, that's me. By road to Birmingham.
What do you think of the news?
News?
It's Maggie's.
You know, I think it's carrying these parcels. Me brain's gone numb as well as me fingers. What news?
Last night she saw you in the horse, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, about her and Les getting a divorce.
now Miss Nugent's deserted us, who can we turn to?
Yeah, you know, it's a shame they don't do Meals on Wheels for young people.
True, Dickie. I don't suppose you're Valerie.
She's an out at sort. Too many people put on our Valerie.
Yeah, like you.
Look, I'm family, and I don't put on as she insists. Besides, she's got that job of hers.
All right, Dickie, come on. Wheel us out into the snow again. Unless,
Oh, perhaps I could look in.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Turpin. I'd be most grateful.
Well, you might be, but I wouldn't be, let's put it that way.
Oh, Cyril.
Well, my missus has got a full-time job looking after me with my irregular hours. I like to see her at home when I get in.
Mush?
I'll tell you what I can do. There's usually an empty cell at the station. I could arrange accommodation, regular meals.
Oh, it wouldn't do no harm. I mean, just to call in now and again.
Let's put it this way. As long as I don't see, I won't ask any questions.
Well, thanks again, Mrs. Turpin. It's nice to know the milk of human kindness still flows.
But not in this pub. It's chucking out time. Glasses, please.
What
is it?
It's a picture to replace the one that you gave me.
Oh, thank you.
It's a Rembrandt or a Picasso or something.
Or a Schubert or a Mendelssohn.
Yeah, it's one of those for you. The four lads used to do subcontracting work for me. Very good on outside woodwork.
Well, I'll hang it up later.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Maggie, you coming down the Flying Horse tonight? Darts match?
No, thank you.
No. Maggie,
Yes?
you didn't say what you were going to tell me last night.
Oh, didn't I?
No.
Oh, perhaps it was because there was nothing to tell you.
Nothing.
Nothing. Like I said before. I gave you the idea that there was.
It tells you on there which way to hang it up.
Yeah, Rex Harrison it was. He used to go about in drag for fun. And he was a barber.
The hairdresser?
Well, hairdresser.
Well, there you are then, Bernard. I've got £5 that says you won't dare dress up as a nurse and wheel me through the streets. 5 smackers.
I don't like.
Oh, get away. You didn't mind dressing up as Cynthia at Christmas and you were flaming good.
It'll be fraught.
Would it, Ek? It'd be fun.
Well, where will we get the uniform from for a start?
Don't worry about that. That's no problem. Are we on?
Either that or that.
Well, that. But it'll be fraught.
Oh, I'm surprised at you, pair, the way you've treated her. I mean, from what she says, you know.
What's that, molten lava? I bet there's an entire village buried underneath it.
No, stop. I don't think I want all this.
Oh, go on, get it across your chest. You'll come to no harm, love. It's Mr. Turpin's favourite, is that? Well, I'll just go and get myself ready for the match.
No wonder bobbies have got flat feet if they carry weight like this around with them, eh? Oh, Miss Nugent.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ray. I'm in a hurry.
Miss Nugent, please. A minute. Miss Nugent, we have used the butter knife for the marmalade. We've left the sauce tops loose on the bottles. We've eaten pickles straight out of the jar. We've used the sugar spoon for our tea. What else have we done, Dickie?
Transistor radio too loud in the bedroom, kicking off our shoes anywhere.
We promise not to do any of these things again, ever, if you will stay.
There is something about leopards.
We'll try. Can I be fairer?
I'll give the matter a little thought.
When will you let us know?
Just as soon as you've eaten every bit of Mrs. Turpin's stew. Can I be fairer? How about you, Bernard?
Oh, no, thanks. I'm sorry. I've got to go.
Hey, are we still on?
Yeah, still on, but it'll be fraught, you know.
Aye, sold this.
Double top and bowl.
Yeah, well, you were a bit lucky with that.
That's right, Tatters. Just look. Having a throw, Nita?
No harm. Hey, me specs, they've gone. They were on that table.
You don't need specs, love, you saw me.
Well, that was far off. I'd do for near two.
Well, chuck 'em from t'other end of room.
She might eat you then, and that'll be another bit of luck.
Honest, sweetheart, I can't throw without him.
Who was nearest?
He was.
Hand them over.
What?
The specs.
What specs?
These specs.
Whose side are you on? That's treason, that is.
Hello, Mr. Tadlock.
Oh, well, I come over that Bernard. What is it? Have you got them signals off that? Now, what the
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I just got momentarily confused with another little wager I'm involved in.
Yes, well, don't.
Well, now that we're all here, into battle, is it?
I thought you just went out for half a dozen handkerchiefs.
Not exactly. I went out for shirts for you and vests for the kids.
Yeah, well, you look, why didn't you buy shares in the company then? I bet they were going cheap. Although, come to think of it, we've been chucking our money about, they probably rocketed.
Our money? I like that. All the money I spent was my money out of my wage
That's
packet.
not the point.
Yes, it is.
The point is you went out to spend £2 and you spent hundreds.
12.
12 then.
And I must have saved at least another 10.
Oh, that takes a biscuit, that does. You go out to spend 2, you spend 12 and thereby save 10.
Well, they're all things we need or will need.
Love.
And after the sale, they're going to be twice the price
Love,
again.
if that's woman's logic, you can keep it.
I hope you like the pattern.
Oh. Oh, yeah, that's quite something, isn't it?
That's £2, that, marked down from 5.
That's very reasonable.
Hey, that's not right. His feet are more than a foot over the line.
That is where my feet would be if I was standing on them.
Oh, he's right. That's...
Oh, come off it. His nose will be on the flipping board.
Oh, leave him alone, Len. It's his throwing hand that counts. He should be directly over where his feet should be.
What do you think I am, a flaming gun carriage?
I don't know about that, but it's more like a blasted debating society than a dance team.
Right, my wheels will touch the throw-in line. Any objections?
No.
Yes, well, what do you think about that?
I've been watching it for 10 minutes now. Is it supposed to change its spots?
You nearly gave the game away then, didn't you, Miss Nugent?
Why, what did I say?
Well, for all they know, they might have thought it was one spot on its own. Now they know there's more than one.
Oh, come on, Tatters, get playing. Me and Joe's too busy concentrating to listen to your idle chatter. Anyway, Joe, like I was saying, this old woman came up to me and she said, "Hey, Tommy, how much will you give me for this old bedstead?" 1 and 6, says I, and not a penny more.
A bit slippery, these dominoes.
Not the only things that are slippery, are they?
Maggie? Oh, hello, Val. Oh, are you going out?
Yeah, I thought I'd look in at the Rovers. Everybody seems to be deserting them these days.
I wondered if you'd like these. I got them in the sale. £5 each.
Oh, thanks. Oh, well, I wanted some new overalls. I'll get you the money for them.
Well, I couldn't resist them. They were such a bargain.
Oh, it's funny. It's my day today. New overalls. Earlier on, Len Fair Club gave me a picture. I've not opened it yet.
Oh, yes, he said he'd given him the old one.
Have you seen him?
Yes, he carried me parcels. Oh, you should have been in that shop. Shoving and pushing and scrambling. My feet were...
He's infatuated, you know, with that girl.
Is he? I don't know. He certainly hadn't much to say about your divorce.
Well, that's because he didn't know. Well, not from me, at least.
Oh, Maggie, it was the picture I naturally thought that
Naturally thought? Everybody naturally thinks round here. About everybody else's business, not their own. Oh, to think he was in here and knew.
Oh, look, it was a genuine misunderstanding. I didn't do it to mean any harm.
No, I suppose you did it in my best interests. Like Cyril and Betty, plot and plan in my best interests. Like you rushed out on me at Christmas in my best interests.
Oh, you can pay me for them when you...
I just don't like my private affairs being discussed in public. It's not as though I give a tinker's curse for Len Fair Club.
Thank you, darling. That'll steady me aim, that will. Hey, what do we want? Partner, it's 7899.
No, it's 77. 12, nearly 7.
All right. Oh, come on. Well, it's near, isn't it? Now, it's 799, isn't it? Right. Double 7 any good to you?
Oh, I should just close your eyes and throw partners. How are you?
Oh, hush now, back to hush now. Shut up now. It's a lovely little lady's turn to throw.
Leave him alone, he's doing all right.
Yeah, I say he is for your mob.
I think it'd be in order, Len, for me to remind you it's you and Ray against Anita and Ted.
Shush. Back to hush. Come on.
Well?
Well, what?
Well, what do you say to that lot?
Quite frankly, Mr. Tatlock, I don't know. Should I shout rah, rah, rah?
It'd be like an American football match if you did that. You know, I'm surprised they don't have international cups for dominoes, same as they do for chess.
Ah, well then, Bernie, you see, you'd have too many professionals coming into the game. People like Albert Tatlock here.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not all that professional.
Oh, modesty now. Mind you, I'm not altogether against professionals. I mean, there's arguments for and against. Like I'm always telling Joe here, sure, it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Oh, don't worry, Bernie. It's not a signal this time. Your partner's a little worried. That's all.
This should cheer you up.
That was bought out of money that I saved at the sales.
Exactly. News from the Rovers. Interested?
Well, I shouldn't be. Maggie Clay.
Maggie's as good as the best of us and as bad as the rest of us, or something Scottish like that. In other words, she's interested in other people's business, as we are.
Yes, I suppose she is.
Right? Stanley is trying to get tick off Jack. Hilda is still sniffing about Irma. Minnie Calder is singing some song about the good ship Yaki Hicky Doolah. And the Bush Telegraph says that the big white chief, your boss, is at this very minute hacking his way through the shark-infested jungle for Fort Weatherfield for tomorrow.
Alan Howard?
To boot?
Was Elsie sharpening her axe?
Oh, no. She was just blowing down the revolver chamber as she put the bullets in.
Oh, well, here's luck to him, because he's going to need it, having stood her up on New Year's Eve.
Are you leaving us, Miss Nugent?
For a few minutes.
Why, can't you stand the suspense?
Probably not, if I understood the game.
Now, steady on, Bernard. Don't get flummoxed.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Tatlock. I'm not doing.
What's happening?
Well, the other team got ball in 2 hours. So if we get it in 1...
We, Len?
Well, if Ray gets it in 1, we've won.
Come on, be quiet.
Go on, love.
I'll take it in kind.
You do realise we're not even open yet?
2 packets of smoky bacon crisps.
Very well. But it's a special favour, you understand.
I don't mind doing you a favour, Mrs. Walker. Every little helps when times is hard.
Hard?
Well, I had heard that some of the best suppers round here have started taking their custom to the flying horse.
Oh, Mrs. Sharples, if 1 or 2 of our regular patrons choose to patronise another establishment, I think you will agree that that is their privilege.
Oh, I do.
Whether what they find there matches what they have already found here is, of course, another matter, but it is still a free country.
Yeah, it's a pity you didn't think about that when you started turning this place into Stalag 17. Still, you've not much to worry about, really.
Oh?
They always come back in the end, when they think you've learned your lesson.
Oh, morning, Mrs. Walker. Parky again, isn't it? Mrs. Ogden, I think you will concede that I have never introduced the stopwatch or the slide rule into your activities here. Oh, no, Mrs. Walker. But would it be asking too much for you to occasionally put in an appearance before opening time?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Walker, only it's our stand, you see.
Your stand?
Yeah, it's glass shoulder-like, you know, ever since the crash.
Really?
He has got a bottle from the doctor to elevate his suffering during the daylight hours, but I have to go very easy on the rubbing, you see, in case he can't get off to sleep again before I go out to work.
Jack, I am not sure that I can go on much longer.
Neither am I. We're about 15 quid down on last New Year, and I reckon 5 of that stand I've done.
There's a limit to how much a woman of my age can take.
Oh, well, I reckon you should have thought of that before you got rid of Betty Turpin, shouldn't you?
Oh, Jack, nothing that happened between Mrs. Turpin and myself is a source of regret to me.
Oh.
Not that I've ever been one to bear grudge, as you know.
What's that supposed to mean?
What it means, dear, is that if Mrs. Turpin sees the error of her ways and wants to come back to us, I will not be unresponsive to the idea.
Oh, well, there's just one snag to that, isn't there, Annie?
Is there?
She doesn't blooming well wish to. And what's more, I'm not going to blooming well ask her.
Well, good riddance to bad rubbish with that one, Mrs. Walker.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, put some folk behind a boozer bar, they think they're Queen Mother, don't they? Oh, present company exonerated, of course. No, what I'm implying is, if you'll take my advice, Mrs. Walker, you'll keep that one well away from Mr. Walker.
Mrs. Ogden, to the best of my belief, I have never taken your advice in anything. And I'm certainly not going to start now.
So he just stood you up, did he?
It's all right.
He didn't think you were in one place and you thought that he said he was in another.
No.
So he's still alive and kicking?
As far as I know or care.
Hey, that isn't him in the back, is it? Going up in smoke.
No, that's just a pile of old newspapers our burner's using to ruin Ina Sharple's washing. Not that she knows yet, nor was it intentional. But life's full of little surprises, isn't it?
Hey, remember me? I'm the fellow whose wall you knock on every time you're in trouble.
Look, will you get into your thick head that I'm not knocking on anybody's wall and I'm not in trouble? He just stood me up, all right?
All right.
Look, as far as I know, it's happened before and I reckon it'll happen again, and it's not the end of the world and I'm not dying of a broken heart. So let's talk about something else, shall we?
Still, it's not like him.
Look, I don't want to know.
Fair enough. What shall we talk about?
You think of something.
Like what?
Like something begins with A that causes a minor sensation at the Flying Horse every time she collects the glasses.
All right.
What's she like?
You've been listening to the Jungle Telegraph again, haven't you?
Well?
You'd like her.
Oh?
You've a lot in common.
Yeah. But perhaps they've not got one thing in common.
She's a bit younger than you, if that's what you mean.
Younger than both of us.
Yeah.
How much longer?
Young enough to make some folk mention it.
I see. And does it matter?
Not to me.
What about her?
Well, if it does, she doesn't mention it.
Oh, Len, love, you're not going to make a fool of yourself again, are you?
Well, if I do, I'll just have to knock on the wall. Won't I, darling?
Can I go in and see him then?
Not now, Sandra. Mr. Turpin's in there helping him to get dressed.
What happened last night?
Oh, it all happened so quickly. Events are rather hard to tabulate. But first Ray stood up and then, well, he fell down in a dead faint.
But why wasn't he taken to hospital?
Because the doctor did indicate it wasn't necessary. It's quite common in these cases, apparently, and Ray did make something of a rapid recovery.
You mean he can walk now, then?
I'm afraid it's not quite as straightforward as that, Sandra.
Dead legs, you better.
How are you this morning, Ray?
Well, I would like to announce that I've just done a quick 4 laps round the dressing table. I'd like to, but I can't.
Oh, dear.
But don't send me to the knacker's yard just yet, because I did feel a distinct touch of the old pins and needles in my left foot not half an hour since.
Well, you never told me that.
No, well, there are some things your best friends wouldn't tell you, aren't there, Cyril?
What did the doctor say to you last night?
I can't say I remember much of what anybody said last night.
Not much, actually, except to say that he'd be round first thing to see the patient this morning. Oh, well, I must be off then.
Oh, I'll come with you and spread the good news.
Aye, well, don't go letting it on too thick, Sandra. I mean, we don't want to raise Sir Alf Ramsey's hopes just yet, do we?
You know, somebody ought to walk in front of you with a red flag.
Well, well. If it isn't the Lion of Vienna.
How do?
Oh, if you've called about that little trip of ours, you'll have to hang on a bit while the doctor's been.
Ah, yeah, well, that's what I've come to tell you about.
What?
I only remembered them this morning.
Remembered what?
Me weak ankles. I couldn't possibly wear these high-heeled shoes, else I might dislocate myself.
How's that then?
Of course, it stands to reason, doesn't it, when you come to think about it? What does? Life in Australia superior to what it is here. Well, if it is, it's the first I've heard about it. Well, I mean, it's a young country, isn't it? Land of opportunity for them what's ready to take it. Of course, it's not everybody what has it, is it? The pioneering spirit. Isn't it? Well, not like my Emma and David has. Takes a bit of guts, does that, you know, pulling up your roots and going to the other side of the world. Not like a lot of youngsters these days, satisfied to stop here in England and desiccate. How's your Dennis getting on then, down the south of England?
Look, Hilda, he may not be scalping Indians or building log cabins, but at least he's not skriking to come home every night like some folk I could mention.
You are?
You heard.
Who's striking to come home?
Oh, forget it, Hilda.
I say, were them your kids I saw knocking lumps off one another this morning?
This morning and every morning.
How Lizzie and Maggie used to be just the same.
Oh, well, I know who my money would have been on.
Oh, well, I'd have said that, but according to our Lizzie, she was the one who got all the stick. 'Cause she hadn't lost a girlish figure in them days.
Talking about fighting the good fight.
Yeah?
Has Maggie given hers up then? Over you know who?
Oh, not if me and Lizzie got anything to do about it, she hasn't. He might be a rough diamond, might Len Fairclough, but I reckon them two could do the world of good for each other.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll go.
Oh, would you like to come this way?
Oh, I'm afraid she's a bit poorly this morning, Mrs. Walker. Can I do anything for you?
Oh, I'll see you later.
Yes, Mrs. Walker?
Sergeant Turpin, I think you will agree that Elizabeth and I are both positive personalities, and therefore a little friction is bound to arise from time to time.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Mrs. Walker. Only from what I heard, it wasn't friction that caused the trouble, but suspicion. Unfounded suspicion at that.
Ah, well, now, if I haven't apologised for that so far, it is simply because the opportunity has not presented itself. I take it that Mrs. Turpin has not yet found alternative work, speedy recovery. And do tell her that there's always a place for her at the Rose Return, if ever she feels that she would like to rejoin us.
Are you asking, Mrs. Walker?
Oh, I think I've made my position perfectly clear.
Well, are you asking or aren't you?
Well, I should have thought that was obvious.
Right. In that case, I'll tell her. And we'll let you know.
I don't know what you're worried about, Bernard, honest. I mean, it's all in the mind acting, isn't it, Miss Nugent?
Well, that would be one way of defining it, I suppose.
Tell him what you once told me, you know, about that Russian fella.
Stanislavski.
That's it, Stanislavski, the happy Russian.
Stanis who?
Oh, I remember him. Used to play for Blackpool on the wing.
Go on then, tell him.
Well, to take a rudimentary example, let's suppose that Bernard wanted to be a tree.
A tree?
To give a truly telling performance, one would have to convince oneself that one actually was a tree.
Right then, Squire. Now, say after me, I am a tree.
You what?
Say after me, I am a tree.
I am a tree.
Ah, you eckers like.
Eh?
Well, put your flipping branches up then.
Ain't it marvellous, eh? Hey, 2 months ago I would have knocked my front teeth out. But you can get used to anything in time.
I'm sorry, Auntie Elsie. I was just trying to convince myself I was a tree.
Yes, love. Well, the next time you come near me, shout timber, will you?
You know what's wrong with you, don't you?
Which particular bit you on about now?
You've got no confidence in yourself. Oh? You can be such a striking-looking one when you take a bit of trouble with yourself.
Thanks very much. Now, do you mind telling me what you're on about?
What do you think I'm on about?
I'm the faintest idea.
I'm on about you. Letting a bit of a kid take a fella from under your nose.
Oh, I see. That's what you're on about.
Without so much as putting up a fight for him.
Oh, Val, don't you start. I've had Betty on at me all week. Anyway, I've told you what he feels about her.
Well, what he feels about her doesn't matter, does it? I mean, he's at that age, isn't he?
What do you mean?
I mean, never mind what he thinks about her. What does she think about him? You don't know, do you?
No.
Well, if I was you, I would find out then.
Now then, you are Nurse Goodbody of the Weatherfield Welfare Department, right?
Right.
Well, get your hand on your hip, Goodbody, and mince over there.
I can't.
Can't?
No.
How's that?
Hey, you've got your wheel on my scarf.
Hello? I should be late back for work.
Well, I shouldn't bother about that. Would you like a drink?
Yeah.
Huh?
I do trust there's not going to be an ugly scene.
Funny, that's just what I was thinking.
No, thanks.
Come on, Elsie.
I said no, thanks.
Do you require anything?
Yes, a little bit of privacy for a change, if you don't mind, please.
I see.
You were saying?
About New Year's Eve.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, before you start bothering to make excuses, can I tell you that I've heard them all before?
I'm not going to make any excuses.
Oh, well, that's new at least.
I stood you up deliberately.
You what?
I stood you up deliberately. Now, what about that drink?
Come through, will you?
There's more room behind these shops than you'd think, isn't there?
Yeah.
Do you live here on your own, then?
My sister and her husband live with me. But do you like a cup of tea?
Oh, no thanks, I'll have to be getting back. What exactly was it you wanted to talk to me about?
It's funny, I knew exactly what I wanted to talk to you about before I asked you back.
Oh.
About you and Len.
Yeah.
I take it you are still going out together?
Yes.
You don't sound so sure.
Oh, it's not really that.
Oh?
Well, I was just wondering why you wanted to know.
Fair question. But before I answer it, can I ask you something?
Yeah, if you like.
How serious are you about Len?
Oh, why'd you want to know that?
Well, Len and me have been friends now for a long time.
Just friends?
Nothing more.
You're married, aren't you?
That's right.
But you and your husband are separated.
Did Len tell you that?
He mentioned it.
I see. Well, you still haven't answered my question.
You still haven't told me why you want to know.
Well, let's just say I don't want to see him hurt again, shall we?
Hurt?
That's right.
Well, why should I want to hurt
I
him?
didn't say you wanted to. Well?
I don't know yet. Oh, I like him, you know. But we've only known each other a few weeks.
Yeah. Well, thanks for telling me.
Yeah. Well, I'd better be getting back then. Oh, any friend of Len's is a friend of mine, you know.
Oh, Sergeant Turpin. Now, may we expect Mrs. Turpin shortly?
How do you mean, Mrs. Walker?
Well, you did tell her that I'd approached you with a view to her resuming work here.
Oh, yes, I told her all right, Mrs. Walker. She said she'd think about it.
You didn't want to get involved.
That's right.
What about me?
What about you?
I'll tell you something about getting involved, as you call it, sailor. I've been getting involved ever since I stopped eating jam butties walking down the street. And if I'd got two brains to rub together, I wouldn't ever look at another man again.
But you do look, don't you?
Yes, I do. And you know why?
Go on.
Because I still think it's possible for two grown-up people to go out and have a good time together without getting to the plate-chucking stage.
You mean that if a man and a woman enjoy each other's company, they don't necessarily have to have marriage in mind?
I mean exactly that.
I'll drink to that.
What did you say then?
Nothing.
About your pins and needles.
I've told you nothing.
He must have said something.
I think there's something you ought to realise about doctors, Sandra. They're like prime ministers. They like to leave all their options open. Look, I might be on my pins in a few months, or I might be stuck with it.
Oh, see. In that case, you better start watching what you're saying to me, hadn't you?
Oh?
'Cause if I don't have you, nobody else will.
Didn't your mum ever warn you about hanging round fellas like me?
Why do you think I left home?
I'd like a word with you. Huh? I think the snug's free.
Excuse me. Hilda, if you've got anything to say, you better say it, because I'm half an hour late for work already.
I just want to know what you meant by what you said.
What I said?
About our Irma. I take it was our Irma you was referring to.
I don't recall mentioning any names.
No, well, you don't have to, do you? I might not be much of a scholar, but I can read between the lines.
Oh, well, Deb. Look, you were just a bit irritating. Just forget it, eh?
Oh, I'm afraid it's gone too far for that.
Look, love, it was really none of my business.
Well, you should have thought of that before you opened your big mouth, shouldn't you?
You what?
You heard.
I see. Right, Mrs. Upton. You want to know what I'm on about?
Yeah.
Right, I'll tell you. You think your Irma is living a life of Riley down under, don't you?
That's right.
No, Chuck, that's wrong. She hates every flaming minute of it.
I don't believe you.
Well, believe it or not, that's what she told me when she was here.
Oh, keep your head still. You know, the terrible thing is that it suits you.
Oh, well, that's it now. These are tight. Do I look all right, then?
What do you think? I don't know who he reminds me of most, Julie Christie or Batman.
Right, well, I'll just get these on and then I'm off.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And don't talk to any strange fellas.
Morning, Auntie Elsie.
No, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I just want to plead ignorance when his mam rings up and asks. Oh, that flaming woman.
Oh, me mam?
Oh, don't be so soft, Sandra.
What's wrong?
Isn't it marvellous how some people can needle you into saying things that you've no intention of saying in the first place and then managing to make you feel real bad about it afterwards?
And you told Elsie then?
Yes.
Just like then?
That's right.
Just like then. And afterwards, did she, or did you crack a bottle over her head and leave you for dead?
What's more, we're seeing each other again tomorrow night.
Coincidence!
Why?
Well, I'm seeing Anita again tomorrow night.
You want to make a foursome?
Like old times?
Uh-huh. What do you suggest?
Well, how does a good meal, a good brew, and a game of shimmy in the back room grab you?
Fine.
I know just the place.
Come on, you lot in there. Let's be having you.
You hear that, everybody? They're ready for off?
Right.
Now remember what I told you. Be careful.
You don't have to worry about me.
It wasn't really you she was worrying about, was it, Chuck?
Right then, Squire, off we go. Hey, and if you see any sailors, just shout Danny LaRue and head for the nearest sanctuary.
You never make it.
Look
at the legs. Oh, dear me. It's better go chewing. Oh, come on, we're going to be late.
Oh, I hope you'll be all right.
Oh, I shouldn't worry about our Bernard. Bernard's got more sense than we give him credit for. Unless it's not our Bernard you're worried about.
I don't know what you mean.
Don't you? And how long has this been going on?
I've already told you nothing's going on.
Uh-huh. But you, do fancy him, don't you?
He's all right.
Have you told him yet?
Of course not.
Oh, why not?
Well, I couldn't, could I? Besides, he might think I just felt sorry for him or something.
And do you?
No. What do you take me for? About what you said about our Irma.
Oh, look, Hilda, I didn't mean
No,
anything.
I just wanted to ask you if you'll keep what you know to yourself for the time being, like. You see, I don't want it to get back to our Stan, because he'd be very upset, would Stan, if he thought Irma was unhappy over there.
Why don't I keep my big mouth shut?
Hang on. Hey, you know, just think, Bernard, if they sent you to the Crimea instead of Florence Nightingale, it'd all have been over in 6 months. You'd have frightened the Russians to death. Come on, then.
Excuse me, nurse. I wonder if you could render some assistance. A woman's just fainting. Yes. I think I better have your name and address there, if you don't mind.
Yes. Bernard Butler, 11 Coronation Street, Weatherfield.
Right, Come on, lady.
Look, I've already told you it wasn't my fault. It were Ray's idea. He bet me I couldn't get away with it.
But it's you looking and acting so daft that gave him the idea. He wouldn't have dreamt it up if he'd been normal.
I'm only a bit slow, that's all.
That was a bit strong, Sandra.
Big loony. He should have more sense than to take Ray on, making a public spectacle out of somebody like him.
It seems to me Ray's the one that needs more sense.
Oh, how'd you make that out? It weren't Ray who dressed himself up.
Like Bernard says, it was Ray's idea in the first place.
What's that got to do with it, any Ray?
Oh, I see.
You see what?
It's no good blaming Ray, not to you, anyway.
No, it isn't.
And every time he answered a question, poor Bernie's voice seemed to get deeper and deeper. He had every copper in the station laughing, and he even came in off the beat to have a peep at him. But, you know, coming home were the best. He pushed me from Clarence Street to here without touching one main road. We went down back alleys, through Ginnells, along Canal Bank, anywhere where we wouldn't be spotted. He covered miles at a very fast trot.
Are they going to summon him?
Oh, well, Bernie thinks they're going to transport him, and he's sure he'll make front page at News at World.
Oh, poor Bernard. It was something of a rash escapade, Raymond.
Oh, rash or not, it seems to have done him good.
Oh, you're right there, Mrs. Sharples. I've not grinned so much since the day they told me I was paralysed.
Well, not the doctor I've seen coming out of here a bit since.
Yes, and he's very optimistic.
Oh, yeah, I wiggled both my big toes for him, and he went potty. Jumped about, he did. You'd have think I'd have promised to leave his daughter alone.
Yeah, talking of daughters, you and your Sandra Butler seem to have a lot of time for each other these days.
Aye, she's dead unlucky, Sandra, isn't she? I mean, normally she'd have found out me now what a rotten rotter I am. Instead, she thinks I'm a tragic, romantic figure. Still, things will alter when I'm back on my pins, never fear.
I don't think they'll alter. I think they'd be the same between you and her, sitting in that wheelchair or not.
Are you matchmaking, Mrs. Sharples?
If she is, I hope she's not serious.
And why shouldn't I be serious?
Because I've only moved my big toes so far. I don't know how many muscles and sinews I've got in my legs, but there must be a hell of a lot. And until I can move every one of them, there'll be no matchmaking, Mrs. Sharples. Not with anybody. All right?
All right.
Was that wise to upset him like that?
I've told him now he doesn't know already.
I'd just like Mr. Walker's opinion, that's all.
Mrs. Ogden, I make the decisions concerning matters connected with you and your employment here, not Mr. Walker.
Now, what's it say over that door? Front door, go on, tell me.
Well, it says... You know very well what it says.
It says, Jack Walker, licensed to sell beers, wines and spirits, which indicates to all and sundry and me that it's Mr. Walker what's boss of this establishment, not Mrs. Walker.
Very well, I will call him. If you want Solomon, you shall have him. Jack! Jack!
All right. I'm only in the lobby, not Siberia.
Jack, Mrs. Ogden has made a request which I have refused, and apparently she wants you to confirm my refusal.
A request?
That's right, Mr. Walker.
What sort of request?
Well, she's got the
Now, Mrs. Walker, it's my request. I think I should be allowed to state it.
Oh, go on, Hilda.
Well, you see, it's like this. Now, in the event of somewhat happening, which at the moment I'm not at liberty to confide, I wanted to know if I could start here sooner so as I can finish sooner.
And I have refused to even discuss the matter. Employees should consider the views of employers and not vice versa, although I admit that's an old-fashioned view nowadays.
Very old-fashioned. I mean, employers have been considering the convenience of my stand, for instance, for years.
Now, Jack, dear, what is your decision? Though I admit it's purely a formality asking you.
Well, yes. Well, yes, well...
There's no need to stammer, Jack.
Well, am I to understand, Hilda, that if this somewhat that might happen doesn't happen, there'll be no need to change your hours?
That's right, Mr. Walker.
Well, what's the idea of creating a fuss over something that might not happen?
There's no point
Of
at all.
course there's a point.
Hang on, Annie. We'll wait and see. Will that do, Hilda?
Perfectly, Mr. Walker. And I'm glad I come to the head of the house. Very glad. I'll be in touch. Well, she wanted the judgment of Solomon and she got it. Oh, yes. You know, life, to you, Jack Walker, consists of a succession of sidesteps out of the path of trouble.
Aye, and you spend your time sidestepping into trouble.
Because, Jack, trouble gives life a little spice.
Oh.
Here's 20 fags, Jack, will you?
Oh, yeah. How do you do? How do you do? I'll have to get some from the back.
There's no hurry.
I still think it's a bit much avoiding going into a shop with
Oh,
you.
what's the point when you can get away?
But how much do you really go for Maggie Clegg?
Passionately, love. It's something I can't control.
In fact, love, I'm serious.
Look, love, Maggie and me get on. We always have right from the beginning. But we get on. There's nothing more.
I'll have to believe you, won't I?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, though.
What?
I haven't had a bird being jealous over me for a long time. I like it.
Yeah, well, you're the first fella who's made me jealous. For a while.
Oh, sorry, Jack. I'll see you later, eh?
Come on, make your minds up. I'm beginning to feel uncomfortable.
Do you know what I think?
What I think.
That style suits her.
Yeah, it does. And I've been sitting here for 5 minutes like somebody in a shop window waiting for you both to tell me I'll do as I am. Thought the idea was to change me image. Unless.
What?
Unless we tried it with a wig.
No, thanks. I don't mind a different style, but I'm not hiding my hair under somebody else's.
Well, we tried, didn't we?
Just a shampoo and set, then.
Just a shampoo and set. There isn't much profit in it, but we do our best.
Oh, I'll throw my shoe at you in a minute.
Did you, have a word with Anita, like I said?
Yes, I did.
And?
Well, she wasn't giving much away. And you're not being the help to me you promised, are you?
What can I do?
Well, you could have persuaded me to have a plait at least.
You can have two, you can have a fringe, but it still won't suit you.
I know.
Firstly, why is Sandra walking around in such a mood?
Oh, she's sulking because she thinks I criticise Ray.
Secondly, what has Mrs. Ogden got in her mind? She seems to think she has an appointment with me.
She has. You're going to give her a job as a cleaner.
You must be joking. I can't stand the woman.
Oh, please.
I thought you two were always at each other's throats.
Yeah, well, I owe her a favour, that's all. It was me that told her that David and Emma were, well, they had marriage problems.
Well, who hasn't?
Go on, please.
Okay, but it's your responsibility.
Thank you. Is there anything else, sir?
No, I don't think so, Mrs. Taylor. Oh, yes, there is one thing. Len would like us to be ready for 8 o'clock, all right?
Congratulations.
About what?
On remembering that we had a date.
Not at all.
Oh, and there's just one other thing I'd like you to do for me.
Yes?
Would you ask our Bernard if he'd go round and see Cyril Turpin? He just won't take any notice of me at all.
I'll try.
All right, Hilda. The job's yours. Everything's spick and span at 9:30 tomorrow. 5 bob an hour. How'll that do?
Oh, that'll do fine, Tar. I knew Mr. Howard would have me, you know. You can tell when somebody likes you, can't you?
I've a customer for you, Cyril. Official, I think.
Ah, now then, Bernard, have you come to confess you're the brains behind this gang of underwear thieves?
Oh, no, Mr. Turpin, I'm not Mr. Big.
Oh, what can I do for you then?
Well, it's like this, you see. Ray Langton had me this bet that I wouldn't dare dress up as a nurse and wheel
So
in
it was
his...
you then, was it?
Oh, you've heard about it?
Oh,
then,
I'll
have you?
say I've heard about it, along with every lad in the force. Best laugh we've had since they abolished hanging.
Well, I wouldn't mind a bit of a laugh, but I can't unless I know what you're on about.
Oh, it's like this, Maggie. As Ray says, Bernard says he has this bet with young Gray.
Yeah.
But they don't get away with it because 243 Wilkinson, a very proper copper, stops him on Manchester Road and whips poor state-registered nurse Bernard into the bridewell.
Dear.
It's better than going to the pictures.
Mr. Turpin, Sergeant.
Yes, lad?
It's not very funny for me, is it?
No, lad. Not funny at all. It's very, very serious.
Well, what do you think will happen? I mean, I was wondering if you might put a good word in for me, like.
Oh, I doubt it, lad. You see, the offence comes under a very ancient statute. And you know what ancient statutes are like?
No, I don't.
Well, they're very harsh. Life for stealing firewood, for instance.
Oh, blow me number.
Oh, Cyril, stop torturing the lad. You're having him on.
I'm sorry.
Aren't you?
I couldn't resist it. Now, nothing's going to happen to you, Bernard. Not that I or the law can count on us men going about dressed as women, not even dressed as somebody as respectable as a nurse. But there's no offence in it, so long as I say, well, you weren't up to anything, well, you know, naughty.
Well, you reckon I can bank on keeping me freedom then, eh?
Definitely, lad.
Oh, well, that's a relief. I think.
Why do you only think?
Well, it's not everybody that gets their name in the news of the world, is it?
State registered nurse Bernard. Oh, I'd love to have seen him.
Oh, me too.
And that's your last word, is it, Mrs. Walker?
Absolutely my last word. You'll attend when I say, or not at all. I'd rather do the work myself. I will not count out my cleaner.
Oh, well, suit yourself. I couldn't very well mix working at the salon with working here, anyhow. There's too big a difference, you see. I mean, surroundings at the salon being that much nicer. Not to mention the class of person you meet there. Right.
I'd say she won that little skirmish.
Do you really think so, Mrs.
I said
Shells?
so, didn't I?
Well, we shall see. We shall see.
You'll never eat it.
Look, I was brought up on this delicacy. You know, our kids used to reckon 1 bottle of sauce to 4 pork pies.
I bet you don't eat it.
Oh.
I told you.
Well, not because I put too much sauce in it, it's just that they're salty, you know.
Liar.
Well?
Not on your Nelly.
Oh, come on. This is what last 2 pies in place. You can't see me starve.
Can't I?
No. I'd say hello, but I've got a mouthful of pie.
You always were a perfect gentleman, Raymond.
Judgment Day isn't today, is it?
Pardon?
From the look on your face, I thought it might be.
Bored more than anything else, Mrs. Sharples. The photography business doesn't exactly seethe in winter. And as you can see, I'm hardly in demand with the invalid either.
No, you're not.
You weren't serious, were you, about Ray and Sandra, well, getting married? It'd be marvellous, of course, terribly romantic, but Ray is vehemently opposed until he recovers.
Now, what's him being opposed got to do with it? Leave him alone with her long enough, and he won't be able to help himself.
What have you got trapped under there?
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches?
Anchovy.
Anchovy? I don't even know what it is. Never mind, like it. And in there?
Assorted cakes.
Oh, so that's where all the housekeeping money goes?
Actually, I bought the cakes out of my own pocket. Sandwiches.
Anchovy?
Cakes.
Assorted?
And coffee. Just awaiting the kettle in the kitchen.
Who's it all for?
Why, you and Sandra. Who else?
Well, I don't think it's my birthday. I don't think it's Sandra's. I know, you're practising for when you get married.
Oh, don't be obtuse, Ray. I'm just ensuring that Sandra has a bite of supper.
Miss Nugent?
Hmm.
What makes you so sure that Sandra's going to come round here anyway to eat your anchovy sandwiches and assorted cakes?
Well, if she doesn't, I haven't exactly squandered an inheritance, have I? Well, I'm off.
Where? I think I've got a right to know where my house mother lets her hair down.
Ernest is taking me out for a meal to an Indian. He's very fond of Indian food. Eats curries of 3-star strength without so much as a grimace. I even struggle through the 1-star variety. I'm really hopelessly English.
My, you don't half live it up. You'll be burned out before you're 70.
Goodbye, then.
Farewell. Oh, and if you see any little urchins out in the street, tell them to pop in here and have a sandwich and a cake.
I bet you'd have got up to dance with Miss World.
Ah, beauty queens, they bore me, love. It's with having so many chasing after me.
Who are these for?
You. From Emily Nugent.
Me?
Yeah, well, she did think you were coming round to supper. Are you?
Don't you fancy the Rovers?
Oh, well, let's say I wouldn't develop a condition if I gave it a miss.
We'll stop in then.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to disappoint Miss Nugent now, do we?
And 4 brandies, all right?
Not for Elsie, it gives her heartburn. It's the only booze that does, though.
I will have another brandy, if you don't mind, Alan.
But the last time I took you out...
Yeah, but the difference is this time it's Alan that's taken me out and not you, Len. And I do wish you'd stop reminding me of the 2 or 3 times you took me to a posh restaurant.
Yes, I'll second that.
Me too. It could tell me all silent and moody.
I'm sorry, I should never have opened my big mouth.
Ah, now he's offended.
Ah, well, he is inclined to sulk, you know, especially when you choke on his doorstep.
Leonard.
Yeah?
If you listen very carefully, you can hear the whisper of cards being dealt and the click of a roulette wheel.
I can hear the dice being rattled and all. Shall we,
Flipping heck. It doesn't take them long to get fed up with us, does it?
I said we should have come on our own. A clutch in their wallets, of course.
Go on, scram. But don't be surprised if we're stone out of our minds by the time you get back and we've drunk all the coffee.
Oh, not to mention the 4 brandies.
It just takes us long enough to break the back.
10 minutes.
They get on well together, them two, don't they, pals?
Yeah. From what I've heard, you've been one of Len's biggest pals.
I know you didn't quite mean that the way that it sounded, but you're quite right. Len and I have been pals.
Have been.
Still are?
Look, tell me something, will you?
Sure, if it's not too personal. But you are going to be personal, I can see by the glint in your eye.
Well, why? When you've known him all this time, did you never marry him? Well, I mean, you seem very suited.
It's a good question, love.
I thought it was.
Well, you see, I've been married twice before in my life. First time I was young and daft, you know. Daft enough to fall in love at the drop of a hat.
And the second time?
Well, the second time still had a bit of love's young dream about it. But it soured up quite a lot after 20 years. It's just that... Well, each time I married, I meant those 3 little words. At the time.
But you never said them to Len?
No. There was always something. He's a very attractive fella. But the something wasn't quite enough to stretch the extra bit between romance and marriage.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I went out with a lad from being 14 till I was nearly 20. Childhood sweethearts made for each other. Our mothers had planned a wedding for 3 Junes on the trot. Then I went on holiday to Newquay and I met this young policeman. And you know, inside an hour, I'd felt more collywobbles than I'd felt for Eric, that was my boyfriend, in 5 years.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, now we've sorted Len and me out, let's talk about the important people.
Such as?
You and Len.
Well, perhaps that's too personal.
Oh, no, it isn't, love.
Well, how do you mean?
Shows in your face every time you look at him.
Yeah, I had an idea it did. That extra something you were talking about.
Just for Len? Well, for your sake, love, I hope he feels the same way as you do.
What's up with her?
Now, Mrs. Sharples, don't pry. It's dangerous.
I bet I could guess a good guess as what's to do with her.
Now, it's none of your business.
Let's see how you can stop it being now.
I've discussed it with my husband, Mrs. Walker, and he thinks...
I haven't the slightest interest in what Mr. Ogden thinks.
Oh, well, if that's your attitude.
You were saying about Mr. Ogden?
Well, he thinks that in view of the close bond what's always existed between us as a family and the Rover's return, that I ought to help you out in your trouble.
Only until this heals, you understand?
Oh, certainly. There is just one other thing.
Is there?
It's a question of logical, you see.
Your logical... Your logic or Stan's?
Oh, Stan's.
I see.
Well, he sees the situation this way. Now, seeing as I now start my working day at the salon and come on here afterwards, well, coming on here will constitute overtime, won't it?
Indeed it will not.
Oh, Stan was very definite.
How much overtime would you want?
Time and a quarter. I'm not greedy, not being in a union, you see.
I've no choice, have I?
No, you haven't. Well, I'll get off home and get myself sorted out. I want to look nice for my proper job at the salon.
If I were you, Jack Walker, I'd go to pictures tonight. Be safer than standing behind the bar with her.
Oh, that's a bit of a sweeping statement. All men prefer younger women. Ken says they frightened him. Well, that's what he tells me.
But that's one of the criticisms of the new divorce law, isn't it? You know, why it's called the Casanova's Charter.
What, wives are afraid their aging husbands will desert them for little dolly birds,
Yeah.
you mean? Well, if Ken wants to desert me for a little dolly bird, good luck to him.
Oh, you can say that, after all the fuss you made when you found out somebody was writing him love letters.
I did not make a fuss.
Oh, all right, you didn't. Anyway,
Look at all the successful men who seem to end up with girls half their age.
Yes, but for how long? Oh, it might be all right to show them off at parties or walk on the beach with them at Monte Carlo. But what happens when he wants a week of hot milk and early bedtimes and she's crooning the top of the pops in his ear? To quote Ken again.
Well, perhaps like seems to be happening to Len. You don't need a week of early bedtimes when you've got a young girlfriend.
No, I suppose not.
I can't just put Maggie in a sack and chuck her in the canal.
But you agree she must fancy... Well, more than just like you.
Yeah, I suppose she must.
Oh, I mean, to come and... Well, as good as try and warn me off you.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand.
No, she did, honest. She made the approach.
I'll believe you, love, but I didn't think that of Maggie. I thought Maggie was at least sensible.
You don't know a thing about women, do you?
You must be joking.
You don't. There's no such thing as a sensible woman when it comes to being serious about a fella.
And who's serious about me?
Maggie.
What about you?
Perhaps I don't like having to compete.
For the 10th time, darling, there is no competition.
Honest.
Scout's honour. And I was in the brownies.
Then I'm serious about you.
Hey, you two, you'll have the place talked about.
Come on, Nita, let's dance. I think I've seen enough of these two for one night.
Yeah, they've only come back to play gooseberry anyway.
What's so funny?
Oh, nothing. It's just that it seems funny to think of me being here with you and Len being here with somebody else, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I think so.
Do you know, never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined being out with another fella and Len here, even if he had other distractions. You know, he's thumped fellas just for knocking the ash off his cigarette end.
Well, he's mellowed as the lad.
Yeah. Perhaps he has. Unless it's true.
Unless what's true?
Oh, nothing. Just something Anita said. Do you still hear from your wife?
Ex-wife.
Ex-wife? I hadn't forgotten.
No, I don't hear from her.
Oh.
Why do you ask?
Just curious.
Curious.
No, well, you see, the last time I went out with a fella for any length of time, it was Dave Smith. And his wife suddenly popped up in the middle of it. It was like a sort of rallying call. And it has happened before.
It won't happen in this case.
What makes you so sure?
Because of the way we broke it up.
Was it bad?
Yes, it was pretty bad. I'm not the forgiving kind, and neither is she. I thought she'd let me down, and she thought it went the other way. Well, we thrashed each other for about 6 months, sometimes in public. She wasted 12 years of my life.
Oh, come off it. You must have got something out of it. Everybody does, if only at the start.
6. That's about all. They're about the only moments that we weren't getting at each other.
All right. I believe you.
Believe me?
That she won't pop up again.
Good, very good.
Why?
Well, I don't want you to think that there are ghosts from the past hanging around. I don't like ghosts.
Good. Very good.
You didn't say fake Volger or whatever.
Can't speak Chinese.
Aha. Hey, Red 18, it's got to be. Or bangos me cotton plantation and me concubines, not to mention me fag-making machine.
Sorry, Lucky 35. Lucky for me, that is.
I don't want to play anymore. And I'm going to take me game home.
Spoil sport.
Well, I always was a bad loser. Managed the cricket match that's come to a sudden halt because I wouldn't be out.
I'm like that about fellas. They can't bear to lose one. That's why I always have a plain friend.
Well, nobody's going to pinch me off you, love.
Who said you were my fella?
You know, that's a very good question because there have been 1 or 2 hints made today about you and me.
What sort of hints?
Well, you know. Hints. Ridiculous, of course.
Why? Why ridiculous?
Now, look, don't you start. You know they're ridiculous.
I don't know anything of sort. Fake Volger or whatever.
Sandra,
Yeah.
would you really take me on? Marry me? Like this?
Tomorrow.
I know I should tell you to get lost.
Are you, though?
No.
Can I kiss you?
Well, I can't exactly run away now, can I?
Hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Not until I've given you something to drink and played some soft music.
I don't need those.
Nor me.
You know, Miss Nugent, the only thing you haven't tried is picking me up by the ankles and running my mouth over the carpet to suck up the bits.
Not a very practical suggestion.
You've certainly shown us the error of our ways. Right, Brother Richard?
Right.
We was downright lazy, shiftless and bone idle until you set us the shining example. Hallelujah. Say hallelujah, brother.
Hallelujah.
It was in your best interests.
Ah, we've lived like kings.
Very gratifying. Well, I'll take my case back to the Rovers, get a morning's rest, and come and do your lunch before Audrey arrives.
Oh. Hey, kings don't wash pots.
They might have in backward countries.
You know, it's been all right for you, really, isn't it, eh? Being excused heavy duties.
Give over, it were worse for me. You know, I've lain awake at nights upset because I couldn't help you with the household chores, inwardly sobbing.
Aye, and outwardly snoring. Aye. Still, be all right when Audrey gets back.
Hey, easy, mate. Just keep reminding Nugent Audrey how well Nugent's looked after us. Make her jealous. Never fails with women.
I'll see you both at lunchtime.
All right.
Oh, Miss Nugent, Dickie's got something for you.
In appreciation for all you've done for us.
Oh, really? Thank you. You shouldn't.
There's hazelnuts and almonds and soft caramel centres. The nuts are the nicest.
I take it you've eaten some.
Well, they might have been poisoned. It was in your best interests.
Guess who?
Twiggy!
Oh, you're just trying to make me jealous.
Of course, what else?
You're taking me out tonight.
I take you out every night.
Somewhere special.
Somewhere special it is.
Promise?
The Yacht Club, Bermuda, the Oasis, Las Vegas, or Jackson's Chippy, you name it.
Home.
Home?
My home. To meet me mum and dad.
Not tonight, not tonight, eh, love? My best suit hasn't come back from the cleaners.
Oh, that's all right. Oh, you don't know me dad. He wouldn't tough up even if the Queen was coming.
I think I better wait for it, though, to come back.
Good job I'd not said the yacht club, isn't it? Perhaps I'll see you.
All right, darling.
Will you?
I said all right.
Oh, no, not
I'll
if you
come
don't.
and meet your mother and father.
Oh, he likes a drink, you know. Well, they both do.
Dippy, Nick, I've just remembered something. The 2 tickets.
What
The
tickets?
2 tickets for the big match tonight. You know, it's the big one, the important one. The first cup. You know, Europe.
Oh, Len.
You enjoyed it last time we went.
Yeah, but, well, it's cold.
Oh, with me, with my arm round you. And a few bevies afterwards to celebrate.
Oh, all right. We'll go home some other time then, eh?
Yeah. Hey, how old is your dad?
Oh, he's dead ancient. 48.
Thank the Lord for that. For 1 minute, I thought he might be younger than me.
Hello, love. Glad to see you back.
I'm glad to be back, Mr. Walker. In a way.
In a way?
It was a nice change looking after those 2 lads.
Oh, like Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs.
Yes, something like that. I'm tired, though. It's been a full-time job getting them to keep the place tidy.
Never mind, lass. You can take things easier now.
Yes, in fact, I'm taking the day off.
Miss
Nugent, welcome back.
Thank you.
Did I hear you say you were taking the day off?
Well, yes.
Only I would be most grateful. Now, I wouldn't ask you, but Mrs. Turpin has gone off somewhere for the day and Mrs. Ogden hasn't turned in, and the place is such a tip. Could you possibly assist with the bottles and the glasses?
Hallelujah.
What, dear?
Nothing. It's just nice to know you're wanted.
Morning, Mrs. Beckett, thank you. Good morning. Alan Howard's. Oh, hello, Mrs. Fernley. Oh, no. No, we're booked right through. Until 7. 7 o'clock? Could you? Oh, that'd be fine. Right, I'll see you at 7 then, Mrs. Fernley. Right? Thank you very much.
How's everything?
Oh, fine. We're booked right through until 7. That
Good.
means overtime for Val.
Well, I hope Mr. Barlow doesn't object.
Well, if he does, he'll soon let you know, won't he?
Well, that's what I'm afraid of.
Well, I couldn't help it, could I? Sheila Fernley sings at the Robin Hood and she likes her hair set the same night.
Does she sing well?
Well, some people like it.
What does she sing?
Well, how should I know? I've never been to the Robin Hood, have I?
Well, I was just thinking, perhaps in the interests of the hairdressing profession, we ought to call down there this evening. Just to see how one of our hairstyles shapes up under the hot lights. Purely research.
Overtime?
I'll think about it.
There's a lot of truth in what I say. Just you mark my words.
Well, I will. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
What was all that about?
Psychic phenomenon. She believes in the astral plane.
Oh.
Oh, we
Oh,
haven't
lovely.
much money.
But we do see life.
Yeah, and the afterlife too, according to her. Myself, give me life as it's being led now.
Life? Could call it life, marrying Ray Langton.
Why?
Well, it's just that he's...
Go on, say it.
Well,
say it.
Look,
say
if you let me get a word in, I won't say...
Shut up, the both of you. Now, listen, you, little Jack Horner, before you go in there to sweep up them curly hairs, and you too, little Bo Peep, before you go back and put the stoppers on those shampoo bottles, I want you to listen to me, both of you. I have been out with quite a few fellas in my time.
Oh, tell us something new.
And I'll tell you this for a fact. Legs or no legs, Ray Langton may not be the best catch in the world, but he's certainly not the worst. Argument settled? Scatter.
What do you mean there's no flaming tickets?
Because there's no flaming game and it's an away match.
Well, there's gotta be, I've told Anita.
But unless you can persuade the European Fairs Cup Committee to make a last-minute change of fixture, and unless you can pay the fares of 10,000 spectators from Budapest, then you and her are going to be stood on your own in a dark, empty football ground sharing a bag of monkey nuts.
I mean, dead flipping lumber, that's what I mean.
Not unusual, that, is it, Len?
Oh, no, hello, Jack.
Hello, lad. Just thought I'd pop in and say congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Jack.
How are you feeling?
Well, pins and needles in me toes, like the vet said. Well, all I've got to do now is wait for them to spread up to me ankles and me knees, and then I'll be signing up for the Royal Ballet.
Oh, well, it's nice to hear a bit of good news.
Mix me an arsenic cocktail, will you, Jack, when I get in?
Just a little dash of soda water in it. Right, Len.
You don't have to sign up for the Royal Ballet, you know.
Oh, you mean I can sign up with you?
The offer of the partnership's still open.
Well, I have given it a lot of serious thought, Len.
And?
Well, you don't want a no-good, lazy layabout.
You're turning it down.
The partner you need should be young, keen, active, energetic, reliable. So I've decided to accept.
Right?
Right.
Now, I can tell you something. I've got the offer of a very good contract coming up. University job.
I heard about it last week.
I heard about it yesterday. You what?
And now it's my turn to tell you something. You have got a central heating radiator to fix at Jennings and Roberts in Gregory Street this evening.
Jennings and Roberts, Gregory Street. Never heard of them.
They don't exist. But it'll prevent you from going to a football match that isn't taking place.
No, I'm very sorry I haven't.
You busy?
That's not the word, Mrs. Sharples. That doorbell's been ringing its head off all morning.
Well, it's what you want, isn't it? Trade?
Trade? Most of the customers have been old-age pensioners asking for things I haven't got. It's been uncanny. Tapers, a mousetrap, a gas mantle,
2 ounces of balm. The only real sale I've made this morning was a box of matches.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll double your profits because that's all I want.
Mrs. Sharples, if I give you a box of matches, will you put a light under the kettle and make a brew?
Do I take it you're offering me my job back?
Yes, I am, if you'll come back.
Cost of living's gone up, you know, lass.
5 shillings extra.
Nice of you to offer.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Walker. And what can I do for you?
Do? Well, nothing really.
Oh, then that's another customer easily satisfied.
Well, if you and I can't pop in on one another occasionally to pass the time of day and have a pleasant little chat, it's a very poor world.
It is indeed, Mrs. Walker. And what shall we have a pleasant little chat about?
Well, I was wondering if you'd seen the happy couple recently. I don't mean Elsie and Alan, I mean the other pair.
Oh, no, I can't say I have, but I agree with your description. I'm sure they'll make a very happy couple.
Very much so, indeed. Do you know, I cannot remember when I saw Len Fairclough looking so contented.
Oh.
Well, of course, Mrs. Clegg. Oh, how silly of me. You thought I meant Sandra and Ray.
Cheese, Mrs. Walker.
Pardon?
We've some very good cheddar just come in.
Oh, well, I was just explaining to Mrs. Clegg, actually. I only popped in for a little chat.
Aye. Well, when folk call in on your establishment for a little chat, it's money on counter. £half be enough?
And I just called in about the research.
You mean, am I going out with you tonight?
Excellently put. Are you?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I've just come back for a handkerchief. I've got this coat coming on, you see. I'll get some onion lemons from Mrs. Clegg. Well, it helps to clear out the nasal and bronchial passages.
Does it really?
Yes. I won't be interrupting you anymore.
You're not interrupting anything, love.
No, I'll just go upstairs and get Hanky out of my drawer and come straight back downstairs.
You do, in that order. That's our Bernard going upstairs.
Well, are you?
Well, I don't see why not, do you?
Didn't you enjoy yourself last night?
Yes, I did, Alan. Very much. But I don't think I'd enjoy myself half as much if it got, serious.
Don't worry, I'll fight shy of that, too.
Well, no problem then, is there?
Neighbours.
Oh, if I worried about neighbours, I'd have been playing a harp by now. And besides, I'm not musically minded.
Hello, it's me again. Oh, I'm sorry to keep interrupting constantly, like. I've got me Hanky. Well, I better be off back on my way to shop, haven't I? Eucalyptus oil in a bowl of boiling water with... if you put a cloth over it, that's a good way of done.
I thank Miss Nugent for what I've had. And any more, I'd be damn glad.
I'm afraid there isn't any more.
It was very nice.
Good. And what do we do now?
We?
Yes, Dickie, we. You heard Miss Nugent. We wash up the pots.
You mean I, don't you?
Oh, splitting hairs again, Dickie. What have I told you? Don't worry, Miss Nugent. We'll clear this lot up.
Promise?
I swear by Leeds United, Everton, Liverpool and Manchester City. You can't get much higher than that.
Oh, can't you? I wouldn't know. I'll just have to trust you.
What did you promise her for?
Promises keep women happy, mate. Relax.
Hello, Miss Nugent.
Audrey! Everything all right? Fine, yes, fine. And you?
Oh, fighting fit. Let's just say my mother didn't exactly kill me with kindness. She just bored me to tears with it. Well, how would you like to go to bed every night at 10:30 with a glass of hot milk?
You need your strength to cope with Mr. Hope and Mr. Crosby in there. I've just given them lunch and they're washing up.
Oh.
You didn't mind?
Oh, no. No, it's just I had brought in something special.
I am sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It'll keep.
We'll have a talk later. I've got an awful lot to tell you.
Miss Nugent, I know either you were joking or I didn't hear you properly, but
you said washing up. Yes, at this very moment.
Then, water, washing up liquid, dishcloth.
Well, it took a bit of breaking in.
Well, thank you, Miss Nugent. Thank you. I shall carry on the good work where you left off.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
to wash the pots.
That's not what I heard.
Well, I'm not saying I didn't help her sometimes.
Well, you can help me.
But man is not a pot washer. Man is a hunter.
Who told you that? Last time we saw a mouse in here, it was me that had to block the hole up with putty.
Well, I mean, what do you expect me to do? Pounce on it?
You know, the little lady is perfectly right, Dickie. You ought to lend a hand.
And you.
Oh, well, I would love, but I can't reach the sink.
Look, I'm not asking you to dive in the bowl and come up with a spoon in your mouth, but there's nothing to stop you drying the dishes when Dickie passes them.
Well, I would love, but not now, you know, because I'm late for the yard as it is.
Flipping it, is that the time?
Yeah, come and get this done.
I gotta get a move on myself or I'm gonna be late. You know what that
Bye-bye,
foreman will say if
yeah.
I'm late? He's always having a go at me.
Bye-bye.
Quick, come on, let's go. There you go. Oh, sorry, love, I forgot to say it. Welcome home.
It's just I don't like me private affairs being discussed in public.
It wasn't public, it were Auntie Elsie.
Just the same, me and Ray's business is our own and not to do with anyone.
Hang on, it's a bit to do with me, with my mammy and us here, you know.
Excuse me, please. In there. Look, Bernard, I'm marrying him.
Why, out of pity?
Don't use that word again.
I'll use it again, out of pity.
Look, if I'd met him before the accident, it might have been out of pity, but I'm taking Ray for what he is now. Anyway, he's getting better every day.
Hopes.
Yeah, and good hopes.
You're gambling, Sandra.
If you like, same as them investors. Buy when the price is low.
And sell out when the price goes up, eh?
No, hang on for the dividends, and I don't mean financial
That's
ones.
all right in books, love.
Look, I've got me eyes wide open.
I may be, but you're looking in the wrong direction. Oh, you know, our kid, you can marry anybody you fancied.
I am doing. Ray Langton.
How's that little bairn you're keeping company with?
Oh, she can get out of her pram by herself now. She's even saying simple words.
She needs to. She's going out with a simple fella.
That's right, Mrs. Sharples. We do have lots of fun playing whip and top.
Whip and top, eh? Well, if I were you, I'd stick to it. Because when you're over 40, a kiss on a cold night can only lead to one thing. Chapped lips.
What the heck do you get her back for?
Well, I was going to ask her back, but she beat me to it by getting her old age pensioners mafia to rush me off my feet. I've not let on I know.
I'll come in when she's off duty next time. See you.
Len, do the chap? Your lips?
I keep a hip flask of antifreeze. I'll tell you what, though, Maggie. I wouldn't mind a night off now and again. Relax. Not having to talk. Nothing against Anita, of course.
No, of course not. But, if you fancy coming round to supper some night, just to, relax.
Ta, yes, ta. I might even take you up on that.
I wasn't listening. I just overheard. I'm not Elder Ogden, you know.
Well, perhaps Sandra's got the right idea.
What, getting married?
Being practical about it.
Oh, I don't know. You don't learn marriage out of arithmetic books, do you?
Perhaps you'd learn better about it than we did. Being all starry-eyed and up the street about it.
Oh, I don't know. Give me the ups and downs, the fun and games. That's part of life, isn't it?
Come on, Elsie, that's an excuse, and you know it. If you had your time to come over again, you wouldn't make the same mistakes.
No. I'd make even bigger ones.
Yes, well, we'll have to make sure that we don't, won't we?
Yes. We will, won't we?
I don't care if we get married in a church or a supermarket, as long as I know when. You have to make plans, you know.
Tomorrow.
Don't be daft.
I mean it, tomorrow morning. On one condition.
Go on, I'll buy it.
That I can stand on my own 2 feet.
Very funny.
Not funny at all, darling. Very serious. Until I can stand side by side with you in front of the bloke who marries us and carry you over the threshold.
What threshold?
Oh, there'll be a threshold, all right. Coming down the street just now, I could smell the money in the air. It's always a good omen.
I never know when you're joking.
Sandra, when I can stand as a man, I'll marry you as a man. It might be sooner than you think.
Oh, dead legs.
And if you don't stop calling me dead legs, I'll kick you over the threshold.
Audrey! Audrey! Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Is that to help us celebrate my partnership with Fairclough?
No, actually, it's wine for Audrey. Not real wine, you know, a tonic. Audrey!
You might need that yourself. I think she's left.
To whom it may concern. Well, why didn't you open it, it says to whom?
Because I never concern myself with matters between husband and wife.
Fooled me. I shall be in the Rovers. When you two have washed the dinner things, I will come home and get the tea ready. Not until. Audrey.
Ultimatum, that is. Of course, you know what that means, don't you, Dickie? It means we won't be able to join Len Fairclough in that important discussion he wanted me to have with him. Unless,
I get the message.
Now, what's this? Keeping a dog watch?
I thought I'd just straighten up.
I called in to ask if you and Anita would like to join Elsie and I tonight.
After last night, mate.
Well, it's nothing very special. It's just a couple of drinks down at a pub called the Robin Hood.
I'm working.
You're sweeping a bench down.
Alan, she's asked me to meet her family. And I don't want to. Not yet. So I said I'd got tickets for a match, and there's no match. So I've got to tell her I'm working. You sort that out.
Well, we used to be able to sort out that kind of thing in the Navy. You're slipping, Len.
Ah, but in those days, we had a ship to run back to, mate. Here, I'm stuck without a flipping gangplank.
Oh, I can't say I'm mad about football, but I like the atmosphere.
It'll be a cold atmosphere tonight. The man said snow.
Cold? With Len? No. Of course, you might feel the cold. Well, as my mother says, when you get older, your blood gets thinner.
Not if you keep it topped up, love, it doesn't.
Oh, perhaps Len's blood's getting thinner. He was only saying to me this morning he could do with a few quiet fireside nights for a change.
Oh, we'll have to see what we can do then, won't we?
Oh, we already have. I've invited him round for supper some night. He seems so keen, I thought he might be coming tonight.
Well, he's not, is he?
There'll be other nights.
Well, don't you think that'll be up to me?
Oh, the heck. It's a treat watching you ladies. All in wrestling's got note on it. Oh, I don't know who's won. I lost track of the points halfway through.
I'm beginning to see you in a new light, Maggie Clay.
Maybe it's about time.
You know, somehow I don't reckon your lass is going watching any match tonight. There's none on.
Isn't there? Would you two care to have a drink on me?
No, thanks, Maggie. I've got a date.
Ah.
You haven't asked Alan round for supper by any chance, have you?
I just don't believe it. You mean Dickie actually cleans his shoes in the back kitchen on newspaper?
Yes, I hope you don't mind.
Mind?
My appearing to take over.
I'm delighted. But how did you do it? Hypnotism?
Just basic training. Door slamming, for one.
Oh, well, I slam the door when I'm mad at him.
Not one door. What I believe the artillery term a salvo. You slam different doors throughout the house so that he never quite knows which door's going to bang next.
Very interesting.
Then there's dusting the mantelpiece and vacuum cleaning the carpet when television's on. This has the effect, again to use military jargon, of a bayonet attack.
I'll say this for you, Miss Nugent. Chap who'd married you would have copped it. Likely ended up as Prime Minister.
Well, you know so much about domestic training. How come you never got married?
Perhaps I never met the right man. Or perhaps when I met him, I wasn't the right woman.
You know, I find this conversation very enlightening. Now, in a marriage such as ours, Jack's and mine, we don't seem to need such tactics as door banging and carpet sweeping. We usually see eye to eye on most things, don't we?
Ah, that's right, love. And when we don't, she keeps the bedroom light burning, reading all night until I'm prepared to admit I'm a Chinese communist just to get some sleep.
Have you two got them pots washed yet?
Oh, well, no, that is
The
it.
pots have been washed, Mrs. Fleming, and Dickie here is handing over his sword in token of surrender.
Come home, Audrey. All is forgiven.
What's it then, darling?
Seth?
The match.
Oh, the match. I can't go.
Can't.
I'm sorry, darling. I've got to work, honestly. Something's cropped up, urgent. It can't wait. They said it can't wait. I'm sorry, love. I'm sorry.
You're lying.
I'm not. You asked Ray Langton.
Or should I ask Maggie Clegg?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. The supper and the firelight glow. Oh, don't say she's not invited you.
Oh, yeah, she has, but...
Oh, so it's true then. And you accepted.
But not tonight. I said sometime.
Look, Len, I'm not one of your football teams. I'm not competing for the World Cup, and I'm certainly not competing with Maggie Clegg.
Please, listen.
Oh, I've done listening. While you're working tonight, that is, if you are working, you can make up your mind whether it's her or me.
Here, mate. Hold on to this, will you? Yep, Anita's serious. Me, I'm not so sure.
Well, she seems a very nice girl.
She is, like I told you. She wants me to meet her family.
It's the first stage. And he's under the parlour table.
That's the last stage that worries me.
Don't you think you're ready for the marriage stakes?
To tell you the truth, Alan, I think I'm past it.
Oh, come on, Len. Who collects your old age pension?
I mean, with her. There's a big difference in us, you know.
What difference does that make? It doesn't have to work against you.
Did yours?
Look, I know I married a woman much younger than myself, and I know it broke down. But age has had nothing to do with it. They weren't even a prime factor. You start going into personal histories, you can find all the reasons in the world why two people shouldn't marry each other.
I suppose you could be right.
And don't judge anything by my experience. You could have a very good thing going with Anita. She doesn't care about the difference in your ages. Why should you?
She's determined to be Mrs. Fairclough. She's made that clear.
Can I let go of this?
Eh? Oh, yeah.
In the meantime, I do have a sink unit blocked up. Can you fix it this morning?
Right.
Leonard, you might as well face it, you know. You are a kid at heart.
You're right, Alan. I think I'll go ahead. Morning.
Smooth, isn't it?
Fancy him?
Perhaps, not as much as you.
Only perhaps. That's not very encouraging, considering how I've made my mind up.
Have you, Len?
When's the invite home?
I'll fix it.
I'll accept. Tell him your fiancé's calling for approval. Fiancé. That's an icky word, isn't it?
It sounds great to me.
And whoever does the dishes can wipe down the cooker and clean out the sink while they're at it. And mop up the floor where most of the suds end up.
Flipping! What happened to the quivering little bride I married? She never used to be like this.
Well, you started off the wrong way, you see. You're too eager to please, you get played on.
And you don't?
Ah, it's my manner, you see. I condescend to help. A subtle difference.
I'll leave a list at the corner shop. You can pick the grocery list up.
If I am passing that way, Ord, I will do that small thing for you. You see what I mean?
Dead romantic, Len's yard.
When I left him, there was a proposal in the offer. And if he's like that at 8:30 in the morning on a murky morning like this in his own work yard, you can bet your bottom dollar it's serious.
Well, he picks his moments, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know. I haven't known Len for the last few years.
Oh, well, it's his life. Let him get on with it. I've heard it all before.
Not one single regret?
Alan, love, Len and I have kicked around long enough to recognise the fact that we are just good neighbours. It's no skin off my nose, are we, Weds? Let him get on with it, I say. Now, what plans have you made for us this evening? Is it another plushy nightclub?
No, it's a garage. Ashton-under-Lyne.
I see. Is it your garage?
It's my garage. I'm souping up a car for a rally drive on Saturday.
Oh, do you know, I've always wanted to know what it was like to soup up a car. It sounds so exciting. And I'm a liar.
What?
Oh, well, I used to always go along with the lads, whatever the hobbies were at one time, whether it bored me to death or not. But I gave that up as soon as I got turned into a snowball and a rugby touchline.
So you don't feel like coming?
Oh, I'll come, just to keep you company. But lay off the synchromatic meshes and the hydrochloric gears or whatever.
Elsie, there's nothing more exciting than a garage.
Yeah. A scruffy old builder's yard and a garage full of petrol fumes. Oh, what we women put up with.
Everything under control?
In my own home? I should hope so.
Oh, I'm sure you can cope, but they are a handful.
Well, after you showed the way, I'm laughing. Hey, I must have knocked 10 seconds off the record this morning.
You didn't.
Well, what do you reckon? Dishes washed, dried and stacked?
5 minutes.
I had them done well under that, and the yard swept out.
Olympic standards.
I'm having a bit of trouble getting them to push the vacuum cleaner, mind.
Ah, now, that's where I scored. Dickie did, on one occasion, do the whole.
One up to you. Ava, I bet you didn't get a compliment like I did.
No compliments came my way at all.
Ray said if they kept this work rate up, Alf Ramsey'll take them to Mexico.
Probably be giving you a regular order shortly. When I marry Len. We're engaged now, you know, Mrs. Clegg.
You don't say.
Yeah. Expect we'll set up home in his house for now, till we can look around.
So, Len's taking the plunge.
Yes, in at the deep end and out of his depth, I should say. Only known her a few weeks. Sees a pretty face and he's smitten. There's more to wedded bliss than a flashing smile.
Ah, she's attractive.
And so are you, Maggie, when you're in the mood for sparkling, which you haven't been lately.
Thought I was wearing me I'm not bothered mask.
You might kid some folk.
But not you, Mrs. Sharples.
Any road, proposing and saying I do in front of Vicar are two very different kettles of cod. I'll believe it when it happens.
Yeah, I know, Ray, but I do feel responsible for Sandra.
Your kid can look after herself, don't fret.
With my mum in hospital, I promised I'd keep my eye on her.
You?
Look, I'm serious, Ray. She is my sister.
Yes, well, my intentions can't be anything but honourable, now can they?
No, but... Well, you do feel a bit about her then, do you?
Well, of course I do. She's the only one I'm easy with. Look, if I was still playing the field, she'd still be top choice. As it is, well, I'm lucky and I know it.
Ah, well, she makes out she's got a thick skin, but she's easily hurt, you know.
I'm getting the best of any bargain that's going. Am I likely to let her down?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Bernard's been giving me the 3rd degree.
You practising your big brother act again?
I am your big brother.
Yeah, and it's years since I was your little sister in Platt. He used to plait 'em, you know. I reckon that's where he got the call to go into hairdressing.
With hair like yours, it's a wonder I didn't go into rope making.
Yeah, well, you might have made some success.
That's it. Back to normal family talk.
I was supposed to call for you. What brought you round?
Well, I couldn't wait to give him a big surprise. It's my foot. A distinct wriggle from all 5 toes.
Hey, is there? That's great. Force him to, did you?
Well, I concentrated for a solid hour and nothing, not a sign. And so I forgot about it and it all happened.
Come on, let's see Langton's performing toes. Hey, that's marvellous. See, my shares have gone up a point already.
Hey?
Family joke. Hey, that big toe's not trying. Come on, you lazy lump, get wriggling.
Oh, I'll give it a chance. It's got more weight to carry than the others.
How's the other foot?
Oh, left has been left at the post. I think they've all been nobbled.
Did you tell the doctor?
Well, he'll keep till his next visit. Anyway, you never know. By that time, I might be riding Bernie's bike to the hospital. How you fixed for a loan, eh, Bernie?
He won't let anyone near his bike, not even to ding the bell.
Nothing to give me greater pleasure than to see you riding it, Ray.
You're honoured. Try and get the other one working before he changes his mind.
Oh, look, I've changed out my old rules. What more do you want?
You could wear a jacket.
I'm comfortable like this.
Yeah, but not presentable. And did you scrub those hands?
Clinical, fit for an operation. I didn't have time for a manicure, though. My evening dress tie is at the cleaners.
Your blue knitted one is in the drawer.
Is it? Well, it can rest in peace. Look, Mrs. Fleming, I live here and I'm paying for this house. If I want to eat me dinner wearing a string vest and a top hat, I will do. Oh, the dictator's human, after all.
You in a big top hat down to your eyes.
Right, now we're in a fun mood. What's all this cracking the whip about?
Don't know what you're talking about. I'll get you dinner.
Yes, you do, and I want to tickle this. Come on, let's keep this up all afternoon.
Oh, look at
You're
me.
a
Dickie.
Right, now I'm listening.
Get off then. I was getting my own back on you two, seeing how far I could go.
Following in Miss Nugent's footsteps,
Don't
eh?
you blame me? The welcome home I got.
Yeah, suppose we didn't exactly have the banners out, did we?
No, you didn't. Well, now I've confessed to you. Do I tell Ray or
Or what, Crafty?
keep quiet and take it out on him?
Keep him in the dark? Gang up on my mate? Gang up on poor Ray?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Well, at least it's night out, Elsie. You'll not be stuck in on your own.
Well, I can't see myself doing much dancing with Alan in oil-covered overalls and his nostrils full of petrol fumes.
Ah, perhaps he'll take you on the rally tomorrow.
As navigator? Yeah. You must be joking. I can't even find my way to the bus stop.
Oh.
Hi.
I Expect you've heard the latest on Len.
Alan did mention that he was about to pop down on one knee and pop the question.
According to Anita, he has.
Oh, well, I don't know. Knowing Len, he can be a bit reluctant at times, especially if he's pushed.
No reason why I shouldn't.
Well, let's ask him. There he is. Len, have you got a minute?
I thought you career girls had to get back to work. Can I get you one in?
No, thanks, love. We're just being nosy, that's all.
I think I know what's coming next.
Is it or is it not true that you are engaged because Anita is spreading it around?
We have come to some sort of arrangement. I suppose you could say we are, yes.
Ah, congratulations, Renata, then.
Yeah. Congratulations, Len.
And me.
Hey, fair cloth.
Hey.
How about fitting some swing doors to this like a Wild West saloon?
I was hoping to see you a bit later on, mate. I might have some good news for you.
Well, give us a hint.
That deal I've set up. It can go both ways, but I'm in with a chance. You'll be quids in if I can swing it.
Hey, I could use a few readies.
You'll have to work for it.
Well, don't I always? You know, for somebody who's about to line his pocket with a few fivers, you don't sound so bright. I'd say you got a touch of the depressions.
Does it show?
Uh-huh.
I suppose it should, seeing as how I've just told two good friends, two very good friends, that I'm going to marry Anita. Hey, come on, let's have it. You can't just say I'm balmy and leave it at that.
Can I? Well, I intended to. If you can't see it, then that's your lookout.
There must be a reason. I've got to know why.
You want my honest opinion?
I'm asking.
And folk who ask for an honest opinion usually want anything but.
Come on, let's have the home truths.
All right. Let's examine your character. Some fellas are loners, and you're one of them. You don't need anybody. You never will need anybody.
Brought your drink over, Mr. Fairclough. It's going fat over there.
I don't need a shoulder to cry on, if that's what you mean.
You go your own sweet way, don't care a toss for the opposition. Underneath that hard exterior, there's a hard centre, mate. Crisp?
It is what is sometimes known as independence.
Oh, you're that all right. And anybody weak, you don't want to know.
That's a bit strong, isn't it?
No, I don't know Anita all that well, but I'll say this. She is a clinger. She needs someone to cling to, and you're not the type to be tied down or clung to by anybody. Have I said enough?
So we're all agreed then?
Well, I agree in principle.
Oh, I'm all for it.
You would be.
He'd do the same for me.
Well, just have him on a bit for the last time.
This is termed the clincher,
The knockout.
which makes me out the villain of the piece.
Well, I think you were, Miss Susan, after all. Well, yeah, I think you did lay it on a bit, you know.
For your own good.
Any villains, it was you two.
Still, can't be. All right.
Wait for me to play bridge.
Hello, Ray.
Hey, what's our ex-wardress doing here, Dickie?
Oh, careful, mate. She'll have you on bread and water.
Ah, but she's not in charge of the lather now, is she?
Actually, I've asked Miss Nugent to come back.
Hey?
To look after you, personally.
Get off, I don't. Are you in charge again?
I knew you'd be pleased.
Well, Audrey's capable.
Am I? And appreciated.
Of course you are. I was only saying to Dickie now, wasn't I?
Now that I remember.
Remind me to run over your foot.
I'm sure we'll get on as well as we did before, Ray. I'll fetch a few of my things over.
Stroll on. I thought we got rid of Emily the overseer.
And got soft Audrey instead.
Miss Nugent, personal attendant.
Good of her to volunteer.
Oh, I could suggest a few other places she could volunteer for. Look, Audrey, love, you are managing.
Think so.
Well, you're flaming marvellous.
Now he tells me.
And you are appreciated.
You've never said so.
No, he didn't.
Nor you.
Well, I'm saying so now, and I'll keep on saying it.
Steady, Raymond. Don't overdo it.
Especially not as Miss Nugent's no intention of coming back.
Hello, what's going on?
You have been had, mate. Pulling your leg. And the moral is, don't take your landlady for granted.
Or your wife.
Yeah.
There'll be something here for you. Yeah. There we are.
That's just a ticket, champion. Something to jam the cellar door open while I'm carrying the crates up. We had an old flat iron doing the job, you know, but somebody walked away with it.
They'll nick anything nowadays.
Well, must get to the bank before it shuts.
Hey, Jack, before you go, are you in the market for advice?
Well, I'm a good listener, Len. Publicans have to be. Perhaps you've not noticed that.
It's me and Anita.
Aye, I had heard.
What do you reckon?
Well, she must be a decent lass, otherwise you wouldn't have asked her.
You know what the problem is?
Oh, what do they call it now? The generation gap.
I don't seem to be conscious of it while she's there. It's when I stand back and think about it.
Stan Ogden was telling me that he went to school with Nita's father.
He's not the only one.
Len, wouldn't it be somewhat like marrying Irma Barlow?
Oh, no, they're very different types, Jack.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know. When a chap gets to 40 or so, he puts the brake on, you know. Eases up a bit. I did. Got into a little comfy rut, settled for a nice cosy life. Put away with patent leather dancing shoes. Preferred the slippers like. And Annie was glad to go with along with me. I doubt if a young woman would have done that, you know. She'd want to be up and going all the time.
So you're not in favour?
Well, no, I didn't say that. I'm talking about me. Then there's the other side of the coin. I dare say a good many people have been in your position. They've thought it over deeply, got wed, lived happy ever after. It all boils down to the individual, you know. And, well, you know it. You don't want my advice. You just want reassuring. Well, I better get off. Banks are as quick as pubs for bolting the doors, you know.
The muzzy background is deliberate. It focuses your attention onto the subject.
Really? You know, you'll be shot for deserting to the enemy. You ought to be manning the Flying Horse Fortress.
It's my night off. I'm waiting for Len.
Oh, him, he'll be calculating his future profits. You know, there's a fair chance we might be landing a big contract.
Hey, you didn't tell me.
It's by no means certain, but he's pretty shrewd, is Len. He knows what he's doing. Hey, he'll be saving it for a surprise.
Nice wedding present.
Marrying into money. Rich man's wife, eh?
But I accepted him when he was poor.
We can both say we knew him when he had now.
Hello, love. Come on, sit down.
Yeah, if you like. Are you tired? Been busy?
So. Grab a seat, love. I'll be with you in a minute. What have you been telling her?
Nothing about our little chat. I don't interfere unless I'm asked, and you asked.
I've been asking a lot all round.
Len, I got no right shooting my mouth off. Just forget I said it, eh?
Oh, yes, splendid.
The exposure on that went slightly awry, I'm afraid.
Jack, you must see these fascinating snaps of the Canal Bridge.
Oh, good. Very good indeed. Oh. It was a reflection that boxed me.
That's it, Anita. That's it. I can't go through with him. Oh, it's not you, Anita, darling. It's me, stupid me. And in all truth, I can't honestly think of any reason why. I don't know what I want.
But it's not married life.
Oh, my head's been spinning round trying to think of a reason to explain it, but there isn't one. Maybe I'm just frightened, scared that the same thing might go wrong again. You know, my marriage caved in on me. She ran away with somebody else. It's so long ago I thought I'd shrugged it off, but I keep thinking about it over and over. Then there was the divorce and the upset over my son, who was not much younger than you. And then she died. And then things started crowding in on me. Oh, there have been other girls, oh, aye. Laughing Len, the one-man escort agency. But at the first sign, the first hint of wedding bells, I was off like a rocket. But I thought you were different. You are different. And I'm very, very glad that we met. But I can't get over this feeling that marriage wouldn't work for me. And that wouldn't be fair on you. It wouldn't work. And it'd be my fault. Oh, I don't know. Maybe sometime when I've settled down, thought about things, might be different. But no. We could still go on seeing each other. I'd like to carry on seeing you, Anita.
And that wouldn't work for me, Len. I want to be more than good friends. As far as you and me are concerned, it's marriage or nothing. Best we stop right here, Len. Best we don't see each other again.
I wonder why I could never get a fella that collected stamps for hobby. I would have been a dab hand at sitting in front of the fire licking them little sticky hinges.
Instead, you're going to be deafened by a revved-up engine.
Yeah, and clomping my feet on a cold stone floor to keep warm. Any more talk like that and you'll go on your own.
My lamp's bust. Sergeant Turpin pointed it out. It must be a loose connection or something. It can't be battery, because I only put a new one in. It was new when I put it.
No, it can't be the battery.
No. Unless it's faulty, it could be a faulty battery. Yes, it could. I better go down to the shop and have it tested. You see, they have this tester down. Cheerio.
It's just like having my own family back. They think they own the place.
Well, at least he tried to apologise for bursting in without actually saying so.
Yes, give Bernard credit where it's due. He gets very embarrassed very quickly. I wonder what he thought he was interrupting.
It's all in the mind, Elsie. It's all in the mind.
No man's worth fretting about.
Who's fretting?
Moping, then. Any law and your chin'll be in them scales.
I'm thinking, Mrs. Sharples.
Aye, about what might have been. You want to look to the future, lass. There's better than him waltzing around, and you deserve better. Life's just starting for you.
My life's just starting. I've packed a lot into the beginning.
Any man in his right mind would never think...
Mrs. Sharples.
Anyhow, there'll be more than one coming to call, and you'll be able to pick and choose. You mark my words.
If looks were daggers, I'd be a pincushion.
Cigarettes, is it?
20.
Len? Oh, you're not looking as happy as you ought to. It's not every day you get engaged, is it?
It's what you might call a very quick engagement, Maggie. It's all off. And we didn't even have time to celebrate.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Fairclough?
No, go ahead. I'm in no hurry.
Oh, thank you. Mrs. Walker's coffee.
Yeah, she usually takes a large jar.
Yes, fine.
On the weekend bill.
Yes, please. The news has just reached me, Mr. Fairclough. I'm usually the last to know, and I'd like to offer you my congratulations. I hope you'll be very happy. Oh, thank you. Right.
You can mark that down as another embarrassing moment for Miss Nugent when the latest filters through to her. Oh, it's gonna be one big laugh all round, isn't it?
Yes. All right, very well. I'll give her the message, yes. Oh, hang on just a minute. No, gone. It's a call for you. You've just missed him.
Oh, Mr. Bishop, is he on his way back?
No, it wasn't Mr. Bishop. It was the person who owns the lease on your studio.
Oh, good. He's coming round, is he?
He's coming round in the morning at 9 o'clock, but I'd hardly say good. Do you know who he is, dear?
No, Ernest got in touch with him. He wants him to approve the alterations for our studio.
Yes, well, I hope you don't have any difficulty, because your leaseholder happens to be Mr. Willie Piggott, pork butcher, etc., etc.
Why should we have him?
Well, you obviously don't know him as well as I do. The last two occasions that that man was in this district, he very nearly seriously upset Kenneth Barlow. And the second time he came, he wooed Jerry Booth away from Len Fairclough, and very unhappily, too. So for your sake, I sincerely hope that trouble doesn't come in threes.
Now, the way I look at it, Emily, is this. You see, the existing studio space we partition and divide in two. Now that, Emily, that leaves area number 1 for you for routine work, such as it is, and the model girls come next door with me.
I'm not sure we should divide the studio. Anyway, you might need me on hand to adjust the lighting, for example.
These are professional girls, Emily. We've got to give them every facility. Well, they need somewhere to change for a start.
Can't they change before they come?
Emily, mail order work involves a manifold range of garments, not to mention undergarments.
Then maybe they'd better get changed in the dark room.
Emily, you're being childish.
Begging your pardon, Ernest, so are you. Here you are, making all these plans. The lease runs out in 2 months' time. We don't even know if it's going to be renewed.
Well, that's up to Mr. Piggott, isn't it? He holds the lease.
Exactly. We're entirely in his hands, and according to all reports, he's an awkward customer.
He's also in the building trade. Now, suppose I offer him an option on all the work. He's not going to turn himself out of a job, is he?
He does have other strings to his bow.
Well, he's a lucky man.
Ernest, I know industrial landscapes are a bit inhibiting.
It's the world of fashion, Emily, all there within my grasp.
All right, I know how excited you are, Ernest, but you must be diplomatic. I mean, he'll be here in a minute. Now, don't overwhelm him with your enthusiasm. Just take your cue from me.
I'll try.
Right. Now, let's plan exactly what we're going to say.
Morning. Piggott's my name.
Ernest Bishop, FIBP.
Well, just arrived.
Mr. Bishop's been here some time, ages, in fact.
Photographed the sunrise, has he?
Well, there isn't, hasn't, always will be a very large bulk of work. As a matter of fact, before Mr. Bishop begins to expand, I would like to say about the expansion that it does, in my opinion, represent a highly economic proposition.
How would you know, miss?
Nugent. Emily Nugent. And she is very experienced in business matters. She's been secretary to a firm.
Fairclough and Booth.
That's no recommendation to me, not to anybody.
I'm sorry, Mr. Piggott, I would beg to differ.
Len Fairclough, he's half puddled. Look who he's partnered with in place of Booth. Talk about the halt and the lame.
I think it very unkind, Mr. Piggott, to refer to Mr. Langton's disability.
I'll refer to what I want, miss.
Do you think you could rustle up a cup of tea, Emily?
Oh, that's right, get her out at road. I can't stand doing business with women.
Do you take sugar?
3. Right, Ernest Bishop, FB, whatnot. Let's get down to brass tacks.
Right. Look, I'm sorry, Mrs. Ogden. By the very nature of our business, there's going to be hair scattered all over the floor. I don't think it justifies a bonus.
No. Well, it was just a thought.
Everything under control?
More or less, yeah.
Look, I have to be off. Oh, there is one thing. Do you know a nice, reliable chap who wants a steady job?
Not to please those friends of yours again.
Yes, I'm afraid so. It's night shift work. I've got the details somewhere.
Are you driving in that coat?
No. It gets very muddy, and I usually wind up outside the car, pushing it. There you are.
Work's a blessed comforter.
It's a blessed nuisance.
No, in times of trouble, I mean. You're working exceptional hard.
Hilda, my flower, as a matter of fact, I am. And it's got nothing to do with Anita.
Oh, no, I never suggested it had, but she has finished with you, hasn't she?
That's right.
You know, I think sometimes that's why my Stan doesn't work. He's too contented in himself. Now, if he were miserable, it might be different.
Look, I found work for Stan Ogden before.
Yeah, I know. And he didn't turn up. But he will this time, I promise.
Look, I said reliable, Elsie. It's a responsible job. Why always sticking up for the Ogdens, anyway?
Oh, I've just got my reasons, that's all.
All right, I'll leave it with you. But whoever it is has to start tonight, all right? Wish me luck on the rally.
Luck?
And don't forget to watch.
Alan! You will be careful, won't you?
What does your garden say to it all?
Well, I've not said much, really. Well, it's not underway yet, divorce. No sense in rushing things. Ooh, did you get that corned beef on?
No, it wouldn't budge. He never went much on Len Fairclough, did he, that son of yours?
Gordon's grown up a bit since then.
Anyway, you're in for a divorce. Len Fairclough's given up his girlfriend. Don't tell me you've got no hopes and dreams.
And if I had Mrs. Sharples, I wouldn't discuss them with you. Nor anybody. No. If you spell things out before they happen, there's a fair chance they never will. Better to take things as they come.
And that's the way you mean to go on, is it?
Yep. If I can.
You can't keep your hair in order. You should take to wearing a hat.
Oh, yes. Yes, it goes like this in time of stress.
I knew you were up to no good with Ernest Bishop.
Well, in a manner of speaking, I've prejudiced his chances with Mr. Piggott by putting in my oar.
That Piggott fella's got a mind of his own, and it's rarely changed with the likes of you. Now, have you come in to buy or just to bewail?
Packet of dried bananas, please, Mrs. Sharples. I find they tend to calm me down.
That Pickett sees what he wants and goes out to get it, like that time he set his sights on Jerry Booth and wheedled him out of Len's yard into his own.
Yes, I seem to remember.
And devious into the bargain. He waited until Len absented himself for no good reason. He just simply wanted Jerry, that was all.
Well, I hope he decides he wants Ernest. Ernest wants these fashion models,
And
hence
Pickett's
the improvement
and
plans.
Pickett's objecting, is he?
Well, he's thinking it over. We meet in the Rovers at dinner time.
These plans you're on about. As caretaker of the establishment, how will they affect me?
Oh, they won't affect you, Mrs. Sharples. They're in the cause of progress, so Ernest says.
Progress, Emily Nugent, has affected my life a good deal. It was in the cause of progress that I lost my vestry, the only proper home I ever had.
Oh, it won't be a question of, Well, the lease, of course, is up for renewal.
So, it might be a question of me losing my home.
Yes, I suppose it might. Would you like a dried banana, too?
Look, I don't know what you're worried about. It's the best thing that could have happened to you.
Oh, it's not as if I wanted to go and work in there.
Naturally, I'm here now, aren't I?
It's just the way he did it, that's all. I mean, I couldn't help having that time off. And he's done me out of pay.
Oh, Audrey, money-wise, you've joined us at the right moment. You'll soon make up for what Smith owes you.
Why? Because you've been made a partner.
Because we are in for a busy time. And belting secretaries are hard to come by, and if they work hard, they get rewarded.
I shouldn't let him boss you around. Always a devil for throwing his weight about.
I have worked for Ray before, you know.
Yeah, fine. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thank you. Ta-da.
Well, what did he say?
He advises us to go ahead, cost the job and send him a tender. He thinks we're in with a fair chance.
What job's this in?
Shouldn't you be back at work?
One of me, people didn't turn up. Anyway, he's me fiancé. I've got a right to know what's going on.
Hey, I'll tell you about it later, love, okay?
Okay.
You're in favour, then?
Well, why not? All right, I know it's a pretty big job. We'll have to take on 3, maybe 4 blokes. But basically, it's a plumbing effort. We've done plenty of them before now.
Let's get cracking, then.
Lovely words, mate. Lovely words.
Hilda, do you want your stand to work or don't you?
Well, of course I do, eventually.
Well, you won't find jobs for him looking in there.
I can see trouble.
What trouble could there be washing down a van and keeping your eyes open?
Ah, yeah, well, now that could be a problem.
He sleeps during the day, you daft thing.
No, I mean, it's dangerous, his night work. Supposing they get raided.
What, raided a bread van? Nobody raids a bread van in this day and age.
You said there was pilfering going on.
A few donuts. They don't bring koshes for that, you know.
Ah, well, I'll think about it.
Oh, no, you won't. Your stand starts work tonight.
Don't you start laying the law down about my stand. You've not got him in tow like some I could name.
Do you mean by any chance Mr. Howard?
If the cap fits.
Yes, well, I'm very glad you brought the subject up, Hilda. Because, after all, I have got influence with Mr. Howard. And you do like him, don't you, Hilda? And he is your boss, isn't he, Hilda? And you do want to go on working for him, don't you?
Oh, you won't turn Mr. Howard against me.
No, but your Stanley might. If has happened what happened the last time when his name was mentioned to Howard, and if, like your Stanley, did not turn up last time...
All right, there's no need to go on. Not as green as I'm cabbage looking.
Good. Well, I haven't got all day, so I'll leave it in your hands.
Oh, well, it won't be easy. Stan never was too keen on the dark.
Persuade him, love, like I persuaded you.
By sticking him with pins?
Yeah, that's how you test for the response. Grab hold of his leg and jab him one.
Fascinating.
Well, the feeling's definitely coming back. He let out quite a yell last night.
What about his spirits, dear? Are they recovering too?
Well, he's got the business, and that gives him a boost. In fact, he's putting him for a new job. Big deal for a company. Oh, well, it's just a student's hostel. But, you know, if it comes...
big.
Well, you know, if it comes off, we'll all be laughing. Oh, I've got to dash. Elsie be eating the shampoo. See you, Mrs. Walker.
She sounds very full of herself.
She certainly is, Jack. Honestly, talking about Ray's business as if Len Fairclough didn't exist.
Well, she's engaged to a clever young chappie, you know. Naturally, she's proud.
She plays things up a bit, if you ask me.
Oh, well, she's a woman. They sometimes do.
I'm not being pessimistic, Ernest.
Yeah.
No, it's just that I don't hope for very much. Good morning.
Can I get you a drink? Sit down. You don't have to put me in a humour, Bishop. I never am.
What a shame.
Now, you're all right for that studio setup, as long as you don't overreach yourself. Don't backtrack, don't elaborate, and you'll be okay.
And the lease? If you don't mind me asking.
And I'll see it's techno, but don't expect conversion overnight. I've other chickens coming home to roast beside you.
Oh, good.
Well, I'll be round again this afternoon.
Well, then.
Ernest, I don't mind how many models you have or where they get undressed.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Fairclough. Hey, who's the lady friend? Not the usual, is she?
Wouldn't you like to know?
What, no introductions?
I'm sorry. She's fussy. So am I.
Hey, fair dues, Fairclough, fair dues.
What was all that about?
His name's Piggott. He did the dirty on me once.
He's got a point, though. I'm not your usual, am I?
Yes, and that's number 53, Johnny Wickham. Johnny Wickham coming through now. And he's having some trouble. Yes, he's having trouble with the climb. As you can see, conditions are worsening. Conditions are very tricky at the moment. And it's 48, it should be. No, it's Alan Howard, number 34. Alan Howard in 5th position.
Shut him a minute, love. Look, there's a flaming skid patch. They must be mad. Which is it? Shh, just a minute.
And he's in trouble. Number 34 in trouble. Alan Howard in 5th position. Goodness, watch him. And he's lost control. He's over. Alan Howard, number 34.
I put it to him very nicely, without raising my voice, without no intimation.
Oh.
Vans, I said to him. Vans. I could have said lorries, only she said vans.
It could be fish. Would you want your Stan coming home of a morning smelling of fish?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Elsie Tanner says it's bread.
Oh, night work. Hey, it's grim as that.
Why is it?
Do you know the weather forecast for tonight? Ground frost. Not ordinary frost, but ground frost. Ground frost and black ice. Not ordinary ice.
Black?
Very dodgy.
Well, never mind about dodgy. He goes tonight or else I lose my job.
What, the Rovers?
No, at the salon. And if I lose that source of income, where would Stanley be then, eh?
I don't know, Cassandra. You tell me.
In a very unenvious position, that's where he'd be. And why? Because he wouldn't have no money for his booze. That's where it comes from, you know, the salon, so there.
He won't like that, you know. Sat in here with you on cocoa, night after night.
That's exactly how I put it to him. Only polite, like, you know, with due respect.
Is it definite you'd lose your job?
As definite as I'm stood here, on authority from Elsie Tanner. And if anybody knows that Alan Howard, I'm sorry to have to admit it, but it's her.
Look, it isn't as if it's Oulton Park. It's miles away in the country, the back and beyond.
I know, love. They go in for these rough conditions, and because they do, they come in for spills.
All right. He could have got out of that car and walked away, but I don't know, do I, Len? I just don't know.
What did the commentator say?
What?
What did the commentator say on the telly?
Well, he didn't have a chance. They switched to horse racing, right? I thought you'd be more help than
What do
this.
you want me to do?
Well, you could have run me out there at least.
Look, he could be anywhere, love. The rally, the nearest pub. The best thing is to phone around.
Phone where?
Hospitals, police. Anyway, I can't just shoot off. I'm too busy. I can't just shoot off like
Oh,
that.
look, Len, look, you brought him here. He's your friend. It's your responsibility as much... Well, he is.
All right. I'll do the phoning for you. Now, look, you get back to the shop, because he might ring in.
Len, if he does, would...
I'll get in touch.
Well, how about that for a damsel in distress? I knew she was struck on him, but not that struck.
Did Audrey send off for those tender forms?
She did.
Right, we've got work to do. Hey, don't you tell me about Elsie Tanner, mate, because I know.
Ah, it's true. You never know what you can do till you have to. I'm quite the handyman now Gordon's gone.
Oh, well, you don't have to worry. No, I know what you mean.
Hey, Mr. Walker, have you seen my Stan?
Sorry, he's given us a miss today.
Giving me a miss and all, the slippery beggar. Still, his belly's bound to rumble sooner or later. Thanks, Mr. Walker.
Thanks for telling her an outright lie.
All right. So Stan's been in, but I'm not getting involved. There's going to be some muck flying about, and I don't want to catch it, oh no.
He's crossed her then.
She wants him to go on night work. He won't. He says it's against the law of nature.
Well, what work is he going to do?
He plans to go back on his window round, starting tomorrow morning, very early, with 19 Inkerman Street.
Isn't that his lady friend?
That's the idea, love. Catch her just as she's getting out of bed.
Hilda will be pleased.
Exactly. That's why I'm standing clear.
We haven't
hadn't seen you for so long, I presumed you'd given up the building trade.
Oh, have I, heck? No, I'm doing very nicely, thanks. Just ready to break back. A nice little job in the pipeline, very nice.
Local?
Aye, student hostel. Well, nothing signed or sealed yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Student hostel?
Aye, a residential place. I know, you see, no competition. Well, at least, none to bother yours truly.
I wonder if you're right, Mr. Piggott, because I have a feeling that you could be wrong.
Oh, do you?
Yes, because Len Fairclough and his partner, Ray Langton, are contemplating a new venture, and by coincidence, that concerns a student hostel.
Does it?
It certainly does, of course. I suppose there could be two hostels, I mean. But hardly two successful applicants if it is the same hostel.
Mrs. Walker, it's Lucille on the telephone.
Oh, excuse me. Jack!
Yep.
Jack, love, Lucille.
Oh, right. Miss Nugent, keep an eye on things. I'll have to queue up or I won't get a word in.
Of course, Mr. Walker. Hello, again.
I do.
I should apologise about this morning. I did rather speak out of turn.
Rubbish. A woman of your vast experience, she's every right to speak her mind.
I suppose she has.
And every right to stick up for her friends.
I don't always stick up for Mr. Fairclough, nor Ray, but in the circumstances...
Worked for him long, did you?
For some time. I've since had to abandon most of my duties due to other calls.
You didn't fall out with him, did you?
Oh, no. As I was saying, I don't always understand Mr. Fairclough, but we are the best of friends. I still help him out, as a matter of fact, with the odd piece of bookkeeping. I'm sorry, I have to go. About my experience, Mr. Piggott, I'd like to make it clear to you it is only of a certain kind.
Oh, you heard any news of Alan Howard?
Ah, he's done a disappearing trick. Nobody knows where he is.
Oh, poor Elsie must be going spare.
She's worried.
And aren't you?
Nah, he's had spills in motor cars all his life. He's got 9 lives, that fellow. You know, Maggie, what were you saying at dinner time about Anita having second thoughts?
I said she might, Len. I didn't.
If she did, Mag. If she did, I couldn't. Because it was me that put the kibosh on it. She nearly killed me, you know. I couldn't stand the pace.
Ah, you kept up with her, though. For an old un, you didn't
I didn't do that badly.
No.
Mind you, where's the enjoyment in that? It was a bit of an effort. And I'm a lazy beggar at heart.
Oh, get on with you. You don't like being pushed, that's what it is.
No.
It's a mistake, Len, with you. Asking too much.
It's all right then, is it?
Yes, Len. It's fine. The way it is.
You know, he'd get these rush jobs on at factory, and by jingo if he'd ever bothered to send me word. He used to say that if ever he felt in trouble, I was bound to feel the same way. Yes. And when he was took bad for it last time, I knew before they knocked at the door.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sharples.
Now, don't be daft. No news is good news, that's all I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he could have phoned, couldn't he?
Well, that me has. You've been sat here for half an hour.
That's right, I suppose I better be getting home.
Yeah. Well, are you stuck or something?
Yeah. And, thanks for everything, Mrs. Sharples.
For what, may I ask?
For... well, for not going on about the way things are with Alan and me.
Hey, it's your life. You do with it what you want. You always have done.
Now, wait a minute. Did you promise him his wind around?
You're joking.
Well, Stan says you promised. Said you welcomed him with open arms. Mind you, I did think that was a bit extravagant.
Hilda, my little flower, Stanley's been ousted from the windows. He's been replaced. His little wash rag's gone hard as iron, never to be squeezed again.
Right. That settles it, then. Thank you very much.
Have I been of some assistance, then?
Oh, aye. There's no way out now. The dozy beggar's got no choice.
He's not clocked in yet, you know.
No, but he will do. I'm taking him down there myself under escort. And I'll go on doing it all week if necessary, till he gets conditioned to it.
Just like a little dog.
Don't you be rude about me.
Oh, go on, love. Go and get his collar on. Pathetic, her sticking up for that.
She's married to him. That's what comes of marriage. You'll learn.
What's up with you?
Ah, nothing, Stan. He isn't half a lazy slob.
You're not. Hey, Ray. If you land that job, will we be rich?
No, love, it's only a beginning, but, well, it's on the right track.
And what's that then?
Getting me home back. Getting me home back on flaming life.
Sorry, love. I thought you were open.
Who the heck are you?
Name of Coates. No need for alarm, love. Name of Coates, sales representative.
We are closed. You can see we're
Hang
closed.
about. I am your benefactor. I am here to do you good.
The only good you can do me is to get out of here.
Ah, they all say that until they see the goods.
I don't wish to see them, and the boss is away.
Look at it. Go on, look in there. One little peek. Airspray. Yes, that's what it is. Now, you ask me. Ask me about the price.
Look, the boss is away.
Right. Well, here's your chance. Set him up with this and you'll win his heart, because the price, madam, is ridiculous.
Will you get out of here?
Me?
Yes, you. Get out. Get out. Go.
And take your doings with you.
It's just that you've come at an awkward time.
I'm not that bad to look at, am I? I'm told I've got a pleasant-looking face.
You remind me very much of someone I know.
Do I?
Yeah. Name of Dennis. Has the same job as you. Representative for hairdressing sales.
Successful?
And he is now.
Well, that's nice to know. Where there's life, there's hope, as they say. I'll see you then.
You still here?
Alan.
It's all right, it's not about me. I'm here and I'm all right. Well. Better put them out of their misery.
Well, as you can see, it's not what you'd call a major operation. I mean, basically, those dividing...
I'll cost it when I can.
Great.
Sorry, Ernest. The christening took rather longer than I thought. Unfortunately, an argument broke out.
Changed their minds, did they?
Yes, one of the mothers-in-law was very upset. She said some very nasty things. Very nasty.
Bishop, get me that plan you did and shove it in an envelope, will you?
Will do.
No, she even implied that the child was born out of wedlock.
Miss Nugent, I'd like to have a word with you. No, not now, later, when you're on your Todd.
A word?
I've got a little proposition to make in the way of business.
I thought you didn't do business with women. What makes you change your mind?
Necessity, love. I need your help.
Yes, but I don't see why you should exclude Ernest.
Well, what are you then, a pair of Siamese twins?
I don't like doing things behind his back.
Missy, you haven't done anything yet. Wait till you hear what I've got to say. Oh, so, I'll be in touch.
Yeah, after the weekend.
I'll be in touch.
Yeah, all that talk about him and what a rogue he was.
You don't think he is, then?
I think he's played very fair with us up to now. Really open and above board.
Yes.
Can I be of assistance?
Oh, good of you to bring that torch. Would have come in very handy if you'd fetched it round last night.
I see, it's given him an appetite then. Appetite for his breakfast?
Oh, no, this is his tea. You see, the lads at the bakery said to try to live as near to normal as possible.
Oh.
So it's his tea. Like it would be if he'd come off a normal day job, you see. Dab of porridge, bacon and fried bread.
Not to mention the toast.
Swimming in butter and apricot jam. Oh, slippers.
On the menu.
No. I promised to warm them for him. It's no more than what he deserves. I missed him, though.
Sorry.
I said I missed him. Oh, well, of course, you wouldn't know.
No?
Being single.
Oh, yeah, yes. I suppose that is something that has to be considered.
Still, there's always Saturday. And Sunday, come to think of it.
I suppose it does take it out of him, though, the job.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not Sunday. He'll need his rest.
Hello, where is he then? Been swallowed up in the night?
He's upstairs freshening up. It's been a long night for him, you know, interminable. Especially them early hours, like from midnight to about 5.
Yeah, but he stood up to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they're a different breed, you know, them night workers. Booze.
What, at this time?
No. You see, on a usual day, he'd have gone in for his jar on the way home.
They're closed.
Yeah, no. Hey, Len, you couldn't go and beg a couple of bottles, could you? You know, just to make him feel more ordinary, not so much like a mole.
As you put it like that, Hilda, how can I refuse?
Ta. I'll just fetch the bacon. Oh, Mr. Bishop, about what we was mentioning just now.
Saturday and Sunday.
I wouldn't want you to get the wrong impression. It was more like thinking aloud.
The mind boggles.
No, Mr. Bishop. No, a million times. It's a preposterous proposition, and I'm sure that on reflection you'll regret you ever made it. I'm afraid I see nothing funny in the situation, Mr. Piggott.
Two things funny, lad. Well, funny to me, anyway.
Then I wish you'd enlighten me. I'm in need of a smile.
First, the way you said no. Straight out, direct, no messing. It's out of date, love. The idea these days is never to commit yourself, even to a sneeze.
No is the only possible reply to some overtures.
The second thing I find comical is you thinking that I'll regret having come here. I have regretted some things I've done in haste, but never anything I've gone into carefully, and I've gone into this very carefully.
No.
I only want one little figure.
Mr. Fairclough's tender for this particular plumbing contract is hardly likely to be small.
Well, I think it will be. That's why I want to know what it is. Then I can make my tender smaller.
No.
It wouldn't take a minute. Stroll into his office, as you've every right to, seeing you do his books. Write the figure down. Well, memorise it if you like. Pick up the phone and Bob's your uncle.
I don't do Mr. Fairclough's books all that much. Once every 6 months, perhaps.
Well, make next week that once every 6 months.
No!
Yes, Miss Nugent. Are all them fancy ideas that your boss, if that's all that he is, asks for this place, there'll be so much hot air. Don't forget, I own the leasehold. I say whether he expands or not, or whether he finishes up sitting out in the street with his tenant, Mrs. Sharples, parked beside him. And I'd say Mrs. Sharples was getting a bit old to be losing her own, wouldn't you? So don't be stupid, Miss Nugent. Use your brain box. You're supposed to have one, aren't you?
I just bumped into Mr. Piggott.
Oh?
I told him I was having some more detailed plans drawn up.
Did you?
Yes, he patted me on the back. Very encouraging.
Hey,
Yeah,
I've got Burt Whistles on the phone. They say you promised them window frames today.
I did.
So?
Tell them I've broke my hammer. They can have them by Friday.
Look, I'm afraid the best we can do is Friday. Yeah, Friday. Leonard,
Yeah.
we're going to have a chat.
Oh, good. What about?
Organisation.
I'm all for it.
Well, then, flaming well organised. I cannot get on with that tender for phone calls from customers you promised to do jobs for.
We're busy, aren't we?
Look, mate, I know that not keeping promises is a sort of stock in trade for the British workman nowadays, and it doesn't matter much when we're only on local jobs. But it will on this contract. So let's start practising to mean what we say, shall we?
You know what's the matter with you, don't you?
What?
Is that tender? Too many figures of the wrong sort. Get little Audrey to help you.
Audrey, eh?
Yeah, Audrey.
And where's she now?
She's gone to the corner shop for a couple of buns for me.
And when she comes back from the corner shop, she'll be going to the post office with your coupon.
Well, that's what office girls are for, running errands.
Yes, that's right, and that's why she can't be working out that tender. Not that Audrey could anyway. She's got a mental block about figures like me.
Well, the solution's simple, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, get Miss Nugent to help you out with the tender. She's marvellous at figures.
You know, Leonard, you can be very bright sometimes.
You know what they used to call it? When I was serving my country, initiative.
You know, I've always wondered what turned the tide on the invincible German war machine. It were you, weren't it?
When I saw curtains drawn, I thought you'd had a death it family.
No, nothing as morbid as that, Mrs. Sharples. You see, I'm just trying to keep things as normal as possible for Stan. I mean, if he'd come off a normal day job, the curtains would be drawn. It'd be an evening.
But it's morning.
No, not to Stan. It's evening.
Oh, you're trying to turn day into night, are you?
Exactly. No, you see, at present, he's having his after-tea snooze, then up for a bit of telly, and then to bed proper.
Television at this time of day?
Yeah, I must admit it's a bit of a problem. Best I can offer him this morning is a school's history programme on the Renaissance man or something.
Renaissance man? Well, I'm not sure what a Renaissance man is, but I'll take odds it's not Stanley's cup of tea.
No. Still, you can only do your best. Well, how long do you think it'll be before things start moving, Maggie?
Oh, I don't know. I'm in no special hurry. I mean, it's not as though I've got a queue of fellows waiting to take Les's place.
Yeah, I should have thought you had.
Meaning?
Oh, give up. It's only a joke.
Oh, I wonder. Anyway, I haven't worth a look.
Would you like to listen to some advice, Mrs. Clegg?
Well, it depends what sort, naturally.
Just don't let anything hold up your divorce. You'll feel a great weight's been taken off your shoulders when the final comes through.
Ah, but will I?
Well, I don't know. I should have thought so, Maggie. Your life with Les wasn't exactly one of bliss, was it?
No, but I did live with him for 20 years, you know, Elsie. It's a long time. I mean, you're bound to come across some nice things in anybody after 20 years, even a pathetic old boozer like Les. He was good company, easy to talk to. Sometimes, late at night, when I've not spoken to a soul after closing the shop, I think what a lot of talking me and Les did. What a lot of talking. And I miss that. Till I find somebody else to talk to, I suppose. Ta.
So long, Maggie. You see? Marriage. Even though it goes wrong, it needn't be a complete disaster.
Really?
Well, Maggie seems to have some fond memories of hers.
Fond memories? Somebody to chat to in the evenings? I can get that in the Rover's return.
Right, Chuck. Ta. You're at it again, aren't you, Hilda? Eh? Rover's return tricks. Coming in late and pinching half an hour off the time to try and make up for it.
Oh, well, it's not the same, though, is it?
What isn't?
Well, I mean, I'm not practising on you. I got it to a fine art at Annie Walker's expense.
Oh.
What's going on, then?
How do you mean?
Your Annie, charming.
It doesn't suit her. Definitely doesn't suit her.
Oh, I thought it did. Apart from hotels, it stops her talking so much.
Well?
Well, what?
What were you saying about me? You were obviously talking about me, your six eyes swivelling to my every movement.
It's just that we're not used to seeing you getting your hands dirty. They're your rubber gloves, anyway.
Len, Mr. Pickett, moments occur in everyone's life when one lets the tide ripple over one, when one has had as much as one can take. I am in the middle of such a moment. That is all.
Have you been thumping her, Jack?
No, not lately.
Ah, we're getting in a bit of a rut, aren't we?
How'd you make that out?
Keep brunching in here.
Well, we could go to the Regent Grill in Market Street.
How much will that set me back?
17 and 6, and if I had second...
No, you've convinced me. 2 spud pies, if you please.
Yeah.
Ah, Einstein herself.
Pardon?
I have a proposition, Miss Nugent. Strictly proper, of course.
Proposition. That's a word I've come to distrust.
Oh, well, you'll be chock full of mystery and fascination.
Please, Raymond, come to the point. I'm really very busy.
Sorry. Well, we, that is me and Baron Fairclough, would like you to give us a hand with this tender.
No.
Well, it's just a plumbing...
It's quite impossible.
Well, I'm not asking you to marry one of us. It'd only take you a couple of days.
Miss Nugent!
No, Mr. Fairclough.
No, but...
I've just spoken to Ray.
It must be a funny day for women all round.
Turned you down over something, has she?
It seems like it. I just wanted to do some paperwork.
Fancy.
We'll get by, though.
Ah, you know what to say.
No, what do they say?
The only thing funnier than a woman is on the side of a mushroom.
Well, it's just that I don't want to put on you, love. I get all I want to eat at dinner time in here. Well, I just don't get hungry in the chair, you know.
Well, at least you could have pies at home. People will think I'm not looking after you.
All right, I'll wear a sign round my neck saying, now let's see, feeding only by permission of Mrs. Audrey Fleming.
It's not funny, Ray.
What's not funny? Blame you as much as anybody.
What did I do?
Search me.
I'm getting a bit fed up with little Audrey snarling at me.
Hey, you're not going to fight over me, are you? Roll about, tearing one another's hair, ripping the dresses from your alabaster shoulders.
Don't be daft. She can have you.
Audrey Fleming, eh? Very nice. And what does she do for you?
She keeps the office tidy.
I see.
Ah, hello, Elder.
Shh. Stan, been on nights.
Oh, Cyril manages to sleep through all sorts. suppose it's been years on night shift. He's used to it by now.
Thick-skinned.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, he's not that sensitive, is he? I mean, not like what my Stan is. And his hearing's always been very acute, you know, when he's wanted to hear.
Oh, dear.
Cold, chaps. Flaming cold.
Ooh, sounds as though they're tossing it over the backyard wall, cob by cob.
See to 'em. Hey, you, can you make less noise? Oh, of course you can be a bit quieter. You can wear something a bit quieter than clothes for a start. I'm not trying to teach you your job. All I'm saying is you could be a bit quieter. Hey! I saw you make that gesture. Yeah, that rude gesture. I'd fetch my husband to you if he wasn't resting from his labours. What do you mean, what sort of labour? Oh, you're disgusting, you. As well as having dirty ears. Let's put them in the place, all right. Skinner, I'll have their guts for garters. Right, I warned you. Go on out. Clear off and take your coal with you. Well, you got it out of the bags, didn't you? You should be able to get it back in again. Oh, you'd think they'd have more consideration. They are. I knew it. They've woke him up.
Means a lot to you, this plan to expand, doesn't it, Ernest?
I'll say it does. For the first time in my life, I feel I'm really going somewhere. In the world, that is.
I never suspected you were ambitious.
Of course I'm ambitious. Everybody is.
Not everybody.
The times I've stood here looking round thinking, this is it. This is your life, Ernest. This poky little hole yesterday, today, the day after. You'll still be grafting here while Karsh is in Ottawa and David Bailey's anywhere. That's one of the troubles about being a failure in a glamorous job. I mean, a lathe operator knows that all he's got is lathe operating. Poor chap. But a photographer these days, the world's your oyster. Or should be.
Then expanding the business will sort of compensate for your world being something of a periwinkle.
Exactly. Well, between you and me, I don't think I'd like Ottawa. I'd rather have had the North American continent when it was still full of Red Indians. Well, I must be off. I've got the mayor to do. They bought him a new chain of office. Rumour hath it that he sleeps with it in bed. I wonder what his wife thinks.
Bishop's photographers, we improve on nature. Oh, hello, Mr. Piggott. No, nothing's changed. Yes, of course I know Audrey Fleming. She's a friend of mine. I'd be glad if you didn't involve her. I said I'd be glad if you didn't Hello? Hello?
Afternoon, Mrs. Walker.
Good afternoon.
I see. Like that, is it?
Like what?
I'm not entitled to miss coming to clean just for one day. Not entitled to stop here and see to the comfort of my husband, who's having to lead an unnatural life in order to keep the home going.
Mrs. Ogden, I couldn't care less if you failed to come in to clean 1 day, 10 day, or 10,000 days. You decide if and when. It's entirely your business. I have given up the struggle. Good day.
I see. Doesn't matter whether I come or not then, eh? All my years of slaving for you counts for nothing, does it? Cast aside like an old shoe hammer. Typical! Typical!
What? Trying to get some sleep, is he?
Things all right, Mr. Walker?
Oh, so long as I don't dwell too deeply on them.
Yeah, they say thinking's bad for you, don't they?
They're not far wrong there, you know. I'm always happiest when I'm vegetating, as Annie calls it.
By heck, there's one thing I miss not living in this street.
Oh, what's that, Mrs. Sharples?
Watching the Ogdens up to their antics. Stan's just been yelling blue murder at her through bedroom window.
They are funny, aren't they?
Well, you can always come back in, There's room at Albert's.
Are you trying to get me talked about, Jack Walker?
No, I'll stop where I am. You can get too close to folk.
Yeah, that's true enough. I'm always dreaming of a big detached house with a big garden and a big wall round it. And a no hawkers sign on the gate.
Oh, that's taking it too far. I reckon if he'd meant us to live as separated as that, he'd have made us dumb for a start. It's use of having a voice if we never see anybody to talk to. No, I like me flat. It's not too new. It's not too nice. It'll see me for the rest of my time.
You like living at the shop then, do you, Mrs. Sharples?
I've just said so, though sometimes I wonder why I do.
Why?
Planting myself so near a face as miserable as yours.
Never mind trying to be Bobby Charlton. Red Rex the place for football, not the street. Especially when you're using an empty tin of rice pudding for a ball. I've got my husband in there trying to sleep. Hey, missus! What? Drop dead! You cheeky young monkey! I'll belt you till you're black and blue!
Hey, steady on, love. And me bringing you messages.
What messages?
From your loving husband, who I caught sneaking down the back entry.
He's up, is he?
Up and about. He says he's trying to get somewhere for a bit of peace.
Ah, I were only trying to keep things quiet for him.
How's that?
It'll do.
Thanks for nothing.
What did you expect me to say? You've only trimmed it.
Forget it.
Suits me.
What am I supposed to have done, Audrey?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course you do. You've not said a single word to me for weeks.
Oh, you're imagining things.
Since me and Ray got engaged, as a matter of fact. Are you jealous of me or something?
Oh, don't be daft. I'm married, remember?
I hadn't forgotten, but I wondered if you had. I mean, I had well, I was stuck on Ray, you were.
You've got that the wrong way about. It was Ray that was stuck on me.
Please yourself, I couldn't care less. It's all in the past now. It's me he's stuck on.
Yeah, but would he have been? If he'd been normal and not tied to a wheelchair?
I don't know, love. Audrey?
6 and 6.
Thank you, love. Is it all right?
Might be, in the Canary Islands.
Well, we don't usually have that effect on our customers.
Buy these hairsprays, Mrs. Tanner, and you'll never have that effect on them. Barbara Castle will come and have her hair done here. The Queen will arrange a royal trip so she can slip in here to get her ends clubbed. You will be appointed to Crufts.
We have just bought a stock.
At this price?
No.
What a silly question anyway. As if you could buy hairsprays at this price anywhere. They'll probably be the bargain of the 70s, an economic breakthrough.
Oh, that's what worries me.
Tell me what worries you. Tell me and I'll put your mind at rest in 10 short words. These hairsprays do not need defending with rhetoric.
Right. Why is it that these hairsprays are at such a bargain price?
Why?
Well, that's what I just said. Why are these there?
Mrs. Tanner, how well are you in with your boss?
What's that got to do with it?
Only that buying these hairsprays will send your stock so high, he'll probably tell you how much he's got in the bank. Besides leaving his wife for you.
He's not married, and besides, you haven't answered my question.
What question?
Why are these...
Supposing I put my cards on the table.
I thought you were going to do that sooner or later.
I am married.
With 10 kids.
3, and I'm broke.
How broke?
Flat. Making a go of this job could, well, alter things. Put me on my feet. Put them on their feet. Wearing shoes as well.
The 10 kids?
And 3 kids.
Oof, you do remind me of him.
Who's that?
Are you quite sure in your travels you never did meet a Dennis Tanner?
Oh, him again. No, not that I remember.
Well, you and him would have got on very well if you ever did meet. Let me see now. The price hasn't changed since yesterday, has it?
No, but it will tomorrow. Double, I shouldn't wonder. You are a very lucky and perceptive woman, Mrs. Tanner.
Yeah.
Isn't business lovely? No dirty hands, no industrial diseases, and no trumpet calls for workers' solidarity. Well, I'll see you again when I've got another gift to offer. Bye.
Elsie? Do you think Ray's only gone for me because I'm best he can manage? Him being like he is?
Oh, I don't know, do I?
You're no help to me, are you?
Oh, love, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, well, I'm not in the mood for discussing you and Ray. It's just that, well, a little dicky bird tells me that I made a blunder. A very big blunder.
You know, I've been making a study of Stanley in there.
Stanley needs some studying, like all rare animals.
I've come to the conclusion that he's an intellectual.
Intellectual Stanley.
With not much intellect.
What's he doing here, anyway?
Well, he came in the yard a few minutes ago and he said he wanted to kip for a bit.
Next thing you know, he's got his head down and he's making a noise like a bath emptying.
You certainly sound asleep.
Yeah, I tried to apologise for doing a bit of sawing, and he muttered something about it sounding like a lullaby.
What are you going to do when you want to lock up?
Oh, he'll be out soon enough.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. He looks as though he's in for the winter.
You must be joking. The boozers open at 5:30, don't they?
Yes, of course. Well, thanks for the tea, Len. Will you come and fix that blocked-up sink?
I'll call in on my way home, OK?
All right, thank you. Excuse me, Ray.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to try and crack that tender tonight.
Oh, we've got another week yet. I couldn't turn Alan down.
But, mate, we've got to keep turning down these fiddling little jobs when we start this contract we have.
All right, when we start.
Hey, Len.
Yeah?
Your heart is in this contract, isn't it? I mean, really in it. Because I couldn't take the strain if you started losing interest. Not like I did last time.
What do you take me for?
Do you really want me to answer that?
Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have asked.
What a marvellous opportunity.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm fireproof, aren't I, on this thing? I mean, I can tell you what I think of you and not get me ear bent.
Go on, be my guest.
All right, mate. I think you're a very good operator, and not just with a hammer in your hand.
I'll agree to that.
But unfortunately...
Well, go on. Like you said, you're fireproof.
You're a donkey.
A what?
You're not at your best unless somebody's either tanning your backside or dangling a carrot in front of you.
Well, everybody needs encouragement.
No, mate, not everybody. Not the real grafters. And it's the grafters who conquer the world. While them who are waiting for encouragement are either on drugs or sleeping like that out there.
Is that it, then?
I could go on.
Well, there's no point. I think you've said what you wanted to. But I'll tell you something.
Be my guest.
I'm turned 40, and I don't think I'll change.
I know, mate.
Yeah, well, so long as you do know.
Oh, I do, Len. I do.
Len Fairclough. Yeah, fine, yeah. Oh, anytime you like. Tonight, tomorrow. Fine, thank you. Miss Nugent. She's going to help us with the tender. And a change of heart.
Well?
I can start when I choose.
Good. Now, cheer up, love. It's only a little favour. You should be glad you can do it for me.
I've no choice, have I?
Not really, love, no.